July 25 lease, 2025 sold Terra Premium SST for $299 a month on a 36-month lease. 0 due at lease signing plus tax and license. 0 security deposit. 7,500 mile year limit. 15 cent per mile overage. MSRP $41,656. VIN number SA-09536. Model code SED-11.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us. No one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare. We don't care. Take a look our way. And come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, Lucky dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Let it fly high like a bird up in the sky. Will it go round in circles? Will it fly high like a bird up in the sky? I got a song, ain't got no morals. But the bad guy win every once in a while. I got a story, ain't got no morals. Let the bad guy win every once in a while. Will it go round in circles? Will it fly high like a bird up in the sky? Will it go round in circles? Will it fly high like a bird up in the sky? Bum, 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 bum. Sometimes I wish I was an Eagles fan. When the Raiders were good, I was living with Mike Arier. I wasn't doing it because I lived with Mike Arier, but I had what I call the Raider walk. Every time the Raiders would score, I would do this crazy walk that I would do. But if I was an Eagles fan, every time they scored, I'd do some kind of bird thing, or I'd do my ostrich impersonation. Oh, hell, we're televising now. I could do my ostrich impersonation. I need more running room.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to.
Because the whole impersonation is you got to start running.
Yeah.
You start out slow with the gait, and then you get up to like a run where you're kicking your legs and you look like an ostrich.
We can back up the camera and you can run around the desk if you want.
I do an awesome ostrich impersonation, by the way. I really do. You ever seen an ostrich run? They can get up to about 30, 35 miles an hour, you know. You ever seen ostrich races?
Races? No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. They're big up in, you folks are living up in Tehachapi, they're big up there. In fact, David Brust, local restaurant owner and overall good egg, he used to have an ostrich farm, and he would sell ostrich eggs. Have you ever seen an ostrich egg?
Yes, they are massive.
They are massive. They're about the size of a, I don't know, not a volleyball, but they're about maybe a little smaller than a football. They're gargantuan. And ostrich Meat is pretty good from what I understand. They sell ostrich burgers up there in Dutch.
You know, that's what was explained to me as well when I was younger. To me and my buddy of mine got explained that by his mother, and kind of traumatized my friend. He never ate a burger after that.
The funkiest thing I will eat is rabbit and deer. That's about as far as I'll go.
That's funky?
For me, yeah. For me, yes. I didn't eat deer until I met Larry L. Fields, Lois Henry's former husband. And now a daddy. That is so mind-boggling. I mean, Larry's, not that I'm telling Larry's business, but Larry's older than I am. He's got like a 3-year-old. There's hope for me yet. No, there's not. There's no hope for me. Like I said, I got a text from somebody. And if you've got anybody in there, feel free. And I'm going to keep them anonymous. But somebody wrote me and said, coming from experience, unfortunately, when my husband gave his speech at his son's killer's sentencing, it gave him closure, but it gave him a chance to tell the son of a bitch what type of person his son was and what a beautiful boy he took from us, but the world and what Brock would have become. I didn't mean to mention the name, but all right. So that explains it. It does provide closure. I had never experienced that, obviously, and hope I never do. And they all lined up, the 4 families of the 4 deceased kids, and talked to Mr. Kohberger. They're still upset. They're not only upset that they weren't consulted in terms of the plea deal that they made, giving him life instead of the possibility of death, but now they're upset at the fact that they didn't have the opportunity to hear him explain what he did. And I think the judge's decision was based on the fact that he was dishonest, then he'd lie anyway. But the family's like, I don't care. They want to know. And I heard Ted, I forget his last name. He's a DC detective. He's a bald-headed black guy that appears on Fox all the time. Ted Knight, Ted Baxter, there are too many Teds. But Dylan Mortensen, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, was one of the survivors. She addressed the court and Mr. Kohberger, explaining what he's done to her and things that she'll never forget in her life.
And then there were the panic attacks. The kind that slam into me like a tsunami out of nowhere. I can't breathe. I can't think. I can't stop shaking.
She will never get over this. Is there one more? Yeah, here's some more from Dylan Mortensen.
Sometimes I drop to the floor with my heart racing, convinced something is very wrong. It's far beyond anxiety. It's my body reliving everything over and over again.
That is so well written. It really is. It absolutely puts you in her shoes and how she will deal with this for the rest of her life. When she's my age, she will still deal with this. To be in a home where 4 of your friends are murdered, and there's the added guilt, why me? Why did I survive? So many guys in war, that's part of the PTSD, that they're guilty that they made it, but their buddy didn't and everybody else didn't. And somehow by the miracle of God, this guy didn't stick a knife in you, and you've got to deal with that as well, and the anxiety and I just can't imagine. I really can't. I really, really can't. And I pray that they did get some kind of closure this afternoon in that court. It's just, I can't understand it. I just can't understand it. And then we get some more information about Gabriel Rodriguez and the man that slit the throat of his estranged wife was in court. I just, these wouldn't you love to just examine the brain of a murderer? Like, what goes through your head? Estrada, the man that killed his estranged wife, showed up at a graduation party drunk, got into a fight with her, pulled out a pocket knife and cut her throat in front of her own children. It's like, I think we really do need to reinstate the death penalty. And that's saying a lot coming from me because I have never been a proponent. But this is getting nuts. These random acts of violence. Quick time out. More TRBS. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to remove 3 Democratic members of the Consumer Product Safety Commission who had been fired by President Trump and then reinstated by a federal judge. The justices acted Wednesday on
Alina
an
Habba.
emergency appeal from the Justice Department, which argued that the agency is under Trump's control and the president is free to remove commissioners without cause. A judge has ordered Brian Koberger to serve life in prison without parole for killing 4 University of Idaho students. Friends and relatives delivered powerful statements of love, anguish, and condemnation at the sentencing hearing on Wednesday. On Wall Street, the Dow by 507 points, the Nasdaq rose 127, the S&P 500 advanced 49. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Ladies,
From the KERN
I am well. How are you?
You're live and
Any
local
luck with Jim
news
Gregory?
update on News Talk
The guy,
96.1
Joe.
and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. The woman who allegedly charged at police officers with a knife is in the hospital after an officer-involved shooting outside the Walmart in Southwest
did what?
Bakersfield. Police were called to the Walmart on Gosford Road for a reported assault inside the store.
What's the
Police
company?
asked to talk to Deshaney Holmes outside, and she kept her hand inside her purse until officers say she pulled a knife and came at them. The taser didn't work. An officer opened fire. She was taken to the hospital and later booked at the Lerdo jail. There are 10% fewer homeless people on the street. That's according to the latest point-in-time report. That figure covers the Bakersfield metro area, including Oildale. Officials cite this as progress toward their functional zero goal for the next 10 years. I'm Bill
Okay.
Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Network. You probably heard me talk about Adaptive Network for the last couple of months. We've teamed up with
Lord
them
have
because
mercy.
IT is our business. And when it goes down, we're out of business. And if you're a business owner that's been listening and you're thinking, maybe I need to join AGM and get better IT, what should you do? Well, the first thing I do is take an absolutely free security assessment. Call Adaptive Networks today at 241-0638. Don't wait until it's too late. By the time a business realizes their IT is bad, they're usually already in crisis. Adaptive Network makes
These
it
aren't bad.
simple, no jargon, just absolute
Those granola bars?
And they're there to help. They're local, responsive.
They're sitting
and
there by the
security
refrigerator?
focused. Again, call
They're not
them
bad.
at 241-0638. Adaptive Network, your IT partner in Bakersfield, making it simple, stable, and secure.
This is a special notice.
I think Steven brought him.
Yeah.
Think. Don't quote me on that, though.
Notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may
Low sodium.
significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by tax relief advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147 or simply visit TRA.com.
Do you have any closure text
The
messages?
Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk
Do you have any text messages?
96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
I love this song.
But it's
Reminds me of my dad. The only life I've ever known. Sweet Lou. Lou Rawls.
But the Lord knows I love tobacco.
Road. This is one of my dad's favorite 8-tracks. He had 3. And if you were in his car, he was going to play one of the 3. He had a Lou Rawls, he had a Tony Bennett. I can't remember what the third one was. Oh, it was Count Basie. It was just music. It was just music. Da-da-da-da-da. 842-5376, our phone number, 842-KERN. So the big story of the day is the Wall Street Journal reporting that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, told Donald Trump that he was on the list or in the files in May. Trump is denying this, or really, he didn't really deny it. He didn't really answer it. In the meantime, they are tripling and quadrupling down on this assertion that Barack Obama has committed treason and manufactured evidence to try to bring down the Trump administration. And even John Bolton, a Republican who served in the Trump administration, has conceded, Tulsi Gabbard is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And everybody inside the Beltway, and I think most people with common sense, or most people that just simply don't embrace things that come out of the White House simply because it's coming out of the White House or simply because it's coming out of Donald Trump's pie hole, believe that she did this because her days were clearly numbered. She was not involved in the Iranian situation. She's the director of national intelligence, and her and the Secretary of Defense were not involved in the discussions and the planning of the bombing in Iran. And when she made an assessment, and I can't even remember what she said, but the president very famously on Air Force One said, she's wrong. When the president of the United States disagrees with his director of national intelligence, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like if I depend on Chris to provide me information to do this show and his information is wrong, what do I need him for? Why would I need him? If he brings me in papers and I read it and it's absolutely incorrect, what's the point? So she had to know, it's the talk of DC, that it was going to either be her or Hegseth or Bongino leaving pretty soon. And now she's in Trump's good standings. Check this out. This was Donald Trump from yesterday.
We found absolute, this isn't like evidence or this is like proof, irrefutable proof that Obama was sedacious, that Obama was trying to lead a coup.
Sedacious. Can anybody define sedacious for me? Now I can define sedition, but I don't know what sedacious is. And again, that's just a old man gaffe, I suppose. I assume that Donald Trump knows that the word is sedition, but okay. He's starting to show some signs. He really is. And I think the way they should handle that is just own it. Look, he's what, 80? Just turned 80? He's going to make gaffes every now and again. But again, own it and then just say, but let's be blunt. Let's be realistic. This man holds news conferences every day. He addresses the media every day. No one can make a cogent comparison between Weekend at Bernie's and Donald Trump. But the fact is, when you're 80 years old, or hell, when you're 62 years old, you make gaffes. You just do. There's nobody, nobody beats Father Time. Nobody. I bet at his age, Mick Jagger forgets the words to some of the lyrics. It's just life. But this idea that Obama created, they're commingling the Obama administration, examining whether Russia had an influence on the election. And as I stated either last week or earlier this week, the Russians have been trying to influence U.S. elections since Lenin. Are you kidding? There has never been an election since. Okay, let's be realistic. I think it goes back to the 20s, but let's say after World War II, because we were allies during World War II, and up until then, we had a great relationship with the Russians, but everything broke and the Cold War began after World War II in 1950. So let's say they started examining our elections from that point on. That's different than, and I believe that many of the Obama people and Hillary Clinton, all of them talked about this. I think Brennan is a dishonest guy. I think Clapper is a dishonest guy. But the Obama administration never said, and this is where the treason comes in, this is where the charge has to stem from, this is what Tulsi Gabbard has to prove, that the Obama administration put together the idea that the Russians were trying to influence the election, and that Donald, and what's the magic word? Collusion, that Donald Trump was in on it. The Obama administration never uttered a word of that. There was a period after the election in 2016, I think in December and even in January, when they presented their final report in the 17th of January, that they believed that the Russians tried to influence that election. In fact, a bipartisan Senate committee led by guess who? The current Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, along with being NSA, and I think he cleans up the White House on the weekends, and he's doing all kinds of things. But they concluded that, in fact, the Russians did attempt to influence the 2016 election, but failed. They did not influence any type of ballot boxes or anything, and that was concluded. This is one of the biggest nothing stories in the world. Tulsi Gabbard, in the long run, maybe not now, she's a hero, and we couldn't find the audio of Trump heralding her today. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I got the days wrong. Maybe it was this morning. But he said they were somewhere, and Gabbard was in the room. And Trump said, and Tulsi Gabbard is here. I thought it was like a roast. You know how the roast guys do that? And Chris Burdick is here. Chris Burdick couldn't get a television show if he wanted to. And it sounded like a roast. And he goes, Tulsi Gabbard's here. And she's the hottest one in D.C. right now. She's grinning and smiling. Oh, she's done a wonderful job with this Obama treason story. It's like, wow. She's connived her way back into the good graces with the king. And that's really all you have to do. Show loyalty and show that you'll do whatever you have to do to help the president, because this Obama story couldn't come at a better time for the president, particularly because at least it shelters some of the discussion. Some of the discussion is on Obama and the ridiculousness of these charges, unless it's on Fox. And of course, Fox is pumping this up. And I don't know where you guys stand. Feel free to call in, call me crazy. But if they've got the goods, then prosecute the man. Because some of the charges have died on statute of limitations. The only thing they can get them on is treason. And have you ever seen this before in your life? Have you ever seen this or read about this or heard about this in history in your life? A current president charging a former president with treason? This is what I just can't get with the man. I voted for this man 3 times. I'm an African American. I am a pariah in the black community when they hear that. There's some black women that won't go out with me because I voted for Donald Trump 3 times, that I never voted for Barack Obama. There are people that absolutely believe that I'm an Uncle Tom. Absolutely believe that. I don't give a damn. But I don't give a damn for those of you who think I'm truly a Democrat and I'm supporting Barack because he's black. I didn't like Barack's presidency. I think he's a decent man. I think he's a good husband. I think he's honest. But he did some horrendous things. He was killing people without even going to Congress. And yet they try to hold Trump up to that kind of standard, that you got to go to Congress to bomb the Iranians. When Obama was bombing people and killing civilians? Really? But to think that the man and the administration ever stated that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians and that this thing was fixed is just a lie that Trump, and it'll be interesting to see how Bondi handles this. Because now he's put a absolute hydrogen bomb in her lap. And she's either going to have to go after the 44th president of the United States or admit that there's nothing there. And can you really do that? Can you really go to the king and say, I know you want me to go after this guy, but there's nothing there. And we'll look even more stupid going after a former president for treason. You're calling this guy Aaron Burr. You're calling this guy Benedict Arnold. And again, as I said at the top of the show, at the end of the day, you can't prosecute it. Because Trump has set a new precedent. This 6'3" conservative government, Supreme Court has said, you know, the White House can do whatever they want. You can go on Fifth Street and shoot somebody. You can do whatever the hell you want. It's all about, look over there. That's what it's all about. And again, this comes in the wake of not only the Wall Street Journal reporting that Trump is in the files, but they got a break. They got a win today. The judge, the district judge, has denied Pam Bondi's efforts to release some of the grand jury testimony. And I think they knew that. I think they knew that. And it was a huge win for Trump because now he can say, I tried. I told my attorney general to go to the courts and the courts denied it. So let's go, let's move on, and let's go after Barack Obama. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's cray. Meantime, his approval rating is down in the low 40s. It's at 42%. I don't understand. The tariffs are working out. We've got a new deal with Japan. We got a new deal with the Philippines. I just don't understand the immigration thing. I don't understand the Epstein thing. They are self-inflicted wounds. Just release the information. Because does anybody truly believe that Donald Trump is a pedophile? I disagree with him on a lot of things. I think he's mishandled a lot of things. And then last night on all the news, I was watching Abby Phillip and I was watching the show, the Coates, Laura Coates. And they've got all these new videos of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. What does that prove? I bet you could find as many pictures and videos of Whoopi Goldberg with Jeff Epstein as you could with Donald Trump. Epstein was a huge socialite. Are you telling me that Donald Trump is the only person that he was hanging out with? The only legitimate, honest human being that he was hanging out with? I haven't seen any videos or any pictures of him with Bill Clinton. And we know for a fact that Clinton hung out with him. We know for a fact that Clinton and Hillary went to the island. But is CNBC, MSNBC or CNN putting out pictures of them together with him? No. I don't even understand what the Democrats' end game is here. They really believe that he's a pedophile? That he was going on this island? Donald Trump is a player, always has been and probably always will be. But I don't think anybody with common sense thinks he's a pedophile simply because pedophilia is who you are. We talked about this before. Bill Cosby had to do what he had to do, not because he needed to knock women out. He was a handsome, multimillionaire, one of the best known comedians in this nation. But you know why he had to do it? Because that was his thing. That's what got him off. Whether it's sucking on toes or putting on a dress while you're having sex, whatever your freaky deaky is, some people need that to, get off. And Cosby needed somebody like this to get off, knocked out. Didn't need to. You're going to tell me Bill Cosby couldn't get any woman in LA that he wanted? My dad used to talk about him at the Playboy Club, picking on women. I used to think my dad was just jealous of Cosby. Turns out he was right as rain. But pedophilia is something that it's who you are. It's not a one weekend, I'm going to go to Vegas and have sex with a 16-year-old. No, you either do it or you don't. It follows you through your life, and that's why it's one of the most recurring crimes in the books, because they just can't stop. It's who they are. It's like stop having sex. If I'm going to stop having sex with teenagers, then I just have to stop having sex because that's how I get off. Older women don't turn me on. It's just the young kids. And nobody believes that of Trump. So the only answer right now is to release it all. 3 words, release it all. It's that simple. And at this point, with this Wall Street Journal report, I don't think he has any choice. Unless he's going to ride the grand jury deal. I tried. The grand jury turned us down. I mean, the judge turned us down on releasing the grand jury reports. Let's take a time out. We'll check the board when we come back, see what you all think. Coming up at 4 o'clock, we head up the hill. Our good friend, former federal agent Howard Marcus, joins us. We'll get into another major business departure, in and out, leaving California. Unbelievable. We'll hear some audio from Lindsay Snyder, the young woman who inherited the entire franchise. Her parents died, her grandparents died. Did you know that In-N-Out started drive-thrus? Do you know that?
I did not, but it kind of makes sense with the name now.
Exactly. And I never dawned on me. I never paid attention to the name and put that together until I listened to this long interview. We've got some excerpts from it where Lindsay Snyder talks about where she's going and why she's leaving the great state of California, as if we didn't know. Thank you again, Gavin. Running people and businesses out of the state of California. God, I can remember being 15 years old and this place being the land of milk and honey. People running to California. Not anymore. They're running all right. They're running to Florida, and Texas, and Tennessee, and Nevada, Idaho, any place but here. Idaho. Idaho? Idaho. Somebody will hope. Quick break. Coming right back. It's TRBS on a Wednesday. Right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, we're going to talk to First Five spokesperson and probable Canadian Kevin Bartle about what they've got going on. We've got state-of-the-art news and traffic and, yes, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Vivian Rushing.
Hi, my name is Vivian Rushing. I am a client of Paul Sheldon. They helped me get everything in order. I had no clue what I was doing, and they were wonderful. The staff is amazing. Lynn and Kelly go out of their way to make you feel comfortable when you walk through the doors and make sure you have everything that you need. Paul is very accommodating. He uses himself as an example to help you understand the process of the insurance and what benefits you should be looking at and what you shouldn't be looking at and how to go about putting it together.
Can we get the Dodger game on?
Paul Sheldon, just a couple
Can we
of
get the
days
game
ago,
on?
I was in line to get my medication.
We don't have
and
Sportsnet?
this gentleman was talking about retiring and didn't know what to do. I told him, contact
It's
Paul
3-2
Sheldon.
in the bottom of the ninth, and
I wanna say thank
Ohtani's
you,
up
Paul
with
Sheldon.
one on.
You're wonderful, and your staff is amazing.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
Ohtani could hit a walk-off home run to win it.
The Department of Energy says power outages could surge 10,000% over the next few years, thanks to power-hungry AI data centers. With the grid already struggling to keep up with demand, now is the time to prepare. My
They walked him.
is making it easy with their Christmas in July bundle, featuring the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator. And for a limited time, they're including over $1,000 in free survival gear along with it. Emergency food, water filtration, backup power, and essential tools. The Grid Doctor delivers 3,300 watts of power, enough to run your fridge, CPAP, power tools, and more. It's whisper quiet, gas-free, and complete.
Got it.
Next power outage hits.
Huh?
I'm glad you planned ahead. Go to
You got the game?
mypatriotsupply.com/radio.
Is that the game?
That's
Oh, sweet.
mypatriotsupply.com/radio. And grab the Christmas in July bundle while it lasts. Blackouts are coming. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio and get prepared today.
Come and see what's
Oh, it's
growing at
behind.
Bulls Nursery,
They're
3255
just
Allen
walking it.
Road. Take advantage of tropical hibiscus on sale now. Assorted colors, 5-gallon size are only $18. Plus, Weeks roses, locally grown in Wasco, are 30% off. Beautify your flower beds with bulk materials. There are 6
Those
different
uniforms
kinds
are
of
so
bark,
sweet
9
during the
types of
day.
rock, planting mix, compost, sand, and so much more. Check out the huge selection with over 25 variations. Pricing starts as low as $25 per cubic yard. Even if your thumb is not green, Bulls Nursery has one of the largest selections of succulents in Kern County. Whether you're looking for water features, fruit, or shade trees, Bulls Nursery is your one-stop shop to get everything you need. Don't forget that Weeks roses, along with a huge assortment of tropical hibiscus, are on sale while supplies last. 3255 Allen Road, just off the corner of Meacham. For more information, look them up on Facebook or check them out on the web at bullsnursery.com. Bulls Nursery, your green thumb to better gardening.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Crown me in my heart, your love is king. Ruler of the heart, your kisses rain. Round and round my head. Touching the... All right, you guys are ahead of me. So don't, but technically I'm ahead of them. Their television is ahead of ours,
Oh, we'd be.
but we're 2 minutes ahead of them. So we're probably in sync. But the Dodgers are down to the last out in the bottom of the ninth. They're trailing 3-2. And Asteria Ruiz is up. They walked. Mookie got a base hit with 2 outs. And they walked Shohei intentionally. And now Ruiz is up. This guy's got power. But we just need a base hit. And they're about to load the bases and walk him. In fact, they did, because my phone is ahead of the television. So what should I monitor?
Probably your phone, if you want up to date. But even then, again, they're not going to hear you for another minute and a half, 2 minute delay. They're going to get it a minute and a half late anyway.
True. And I'm sorry that you guys, you know what we should do? I forgot to tell you this before the show. When there are no guests in studio like today, you should wear the mic.
And
guest
it's
mic.
a lot of movement. You can hear me right now. I was able to fix the issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the headphones.
For
That was
the
all right.
for the YouTube folks?
You should be able to hear me now.
Can you guys hear Chris?
They should be able to hear the music and me, unless YouTube shut off the music part of it.
Loud and clear. Okay,
there you
cool.
go.
Cool. All right. Well, good. Nice job. What'd you do?
Again, it was just the headphones we were using yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those headphones are bunk.
That's crazy. All right. I don't want to look at my phone. I want to watch it live. Freddie's up now with the bases loaded. Base hit wins the walk-off base hit for Freddie. You watching this, Randizzle? And he takes a strike. Bases loaded, 2 outs. We're down a run. Freddie's up with the bases loaded. Base hit wins the ball game. Because Shohei's on second, he'll score. And he's 0-2. Great. Freddie's going to strike out. I swear to. If he strikes out, he's going to strike out, isn't he? He really. 0-2. No, Freddie's a contact guy. He'll put this in left center field for a base hit to win. We're watching this closely. I'm going to take you right up to the 4 o'clock. Sorry. Coming up at 4 o'clock, we're headed up the hill. Howard Marcus. Don't forget to remind me to ask Howard if he wants to host on Wednesday. I've got our lineup done, except for Wednesday. Monday will be Kathy Abernathy. Tuesday will be Teresa Goldner. Hopefully Wednesday will be Howard. Thursday is going to be Romeo Agbalog. Oh, he fouled it off. I thought he struck out. Romeo Agbalog, special counsel to the chancellor at Bakersfield College in the Kern Community College District. And on Friday, Mr. Bentley, Rick Bentley from KGT. As we go to break, Freddie is trying to battle down 0-2 with 2 outs, bases loaded, base hit, wins the ball game, takes the series from the Twins. Here's the 0-2 pitch into left field. Is it down? It's down. Here comes Mookie. Here comes Ohtani. Dodgers win. Dodgers win. Dodgers win. Yeah, boy. I told you Freddie would come through. No, I didn't. I said he's going to strike out. Dodgers win 4-3. We finally win a series. Quick timeout. We're headed up the hill. Our good friend Howard Marcus is next. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, boy. Woo!
This is AM 1180
Hot mic, hot mic, hot mic.
KERN.
That was sweet. Did he drop it?
1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Yeah, 0-2. Why would you throw him a strike?
Breaking news this hour from
he dropped it, dude, because he's-
Let me see.
Brian Kohlberger, the man
me
who
see,
pleaded
but what are they
guilty to
stopping?
killing 4
Is that our
University
TV just
of
fucking
Idaho
up?
college students, was sentenced to life.
If
in
it goes
prison
off the side of his
today.
glove, he
actions
dropped
have
it.
made him the worst of the worst. Judge Stephen Hippler pointed out Kohlberger gave nothing.
Yeah, he
giving
should have
up
caught that
remorse,
ball.
redemption, or regret.
Now it's off
I
the
will not
fairway.
attempt to speak about him further.
We needed
other than
that.
to
We
simply
needed that
sentence him
bad.
so that he
We
is
really
forever
did.
removed from civilized
What are you, Kiki
society.
Hernandez?
Kohlberger did not speak in court, but family members and friends of the
Yeah, you're
victims
right.
did.
Freddie needed
Dylan
that bad.
Morrison was a
You're
roommate
absolutely
of the
right.
victims.
That's a nice
hollow
win, though.
vessel, something less than human.
So how do we
It may
get
never be known
Sportsnet?
why Kohlberger did it,
Where'd you
or
find
how
it?
he came to target.
Oh, you
four
just put your
students.
deal in
I'm
there?
Ed Donahue.
President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff.
So then
planned
you
to
could
end
come
the
to my
Middle
house and
East
set up
as the
my
U.S. tries
Netflix
once again
then,
to
couldn't
reach
you?
a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas.
Steve Witkoff has been delaying this trip as Israel and Hamas
On my
conduct
TV. I watch
negotiations
I
in the
watch
Mideast
Netflix on
country
my
of
phone.
Qatar. The fact that he is now coming to the region is a sign that those
Yes.
negotiations have made some progress. Witkoff is expected to begin with a visit, a meeting
I'm
with
sure.
an Israeli delegation in Rome. Depending on how those talks go, he
Yeah, it goes
will then
straight to
decide whether to continue on to Qatar in hopes of wrapping up a deal that
Could it not be a
halt
smart
this
TV? I don't know if it is or not, to be
conflict.
honest with you.
Correspondent Joe Fetterman.
It's old.
The Supreme Court has allowed the Trump
It's I
administration
got it when I
remove
first
3
got it, so it's
Democratic
12
members
years
of
old.
the Consumer Product Safety
So
Commission
it's not a smart
who have
TV.
been fired by President Trump and then reinstated by a federal judge. The justices acted Wednesday on an emergency appeal from the Justice Department, which argued that the agency is under Trump's
No.
control and the president is free to remove commissioners without
On what?
cause. On Wall Street, the Dow by 507 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
No. Mm-mm.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
I'm an artist and I'm in my studio. I listen to the radio
Hey,
all
call
day.
Howard
I'm
early
hearing
so I can ask
ads
him
about
about
Relief Factor, and I've got pain in my neck,
that's
and it's getting worse. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and
on the
order this. 2 weeks later, I've got much better range of motion. If you're experiencing pain at a certain point in life, I would get Relief Factor.
They say
Pain
couldn't do it.
naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service
Yeah, he
members.
told me he was going
Your
out of town or
transition
something.
starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My
Was I
Computer
asked?
Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/.
Hey, Howard!
An elite
Can you
CompTIA
hear me?
certification partner.
Can you hear me?
Are available to those who qualify. From the KERN News
Well, you could have put it to your ear.
live and local news update on
Hey, man, you want to host Wednesday the...
AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A man has been arrested who allegedly beat another man with a baseball bat.
But
at a
that's not what he was
hotel in
talking about. He was
Ridgecrest
talking about
last
sedition.
week. On
We can
July
talk about it on the air.
16th, police
We can talk about it on the
officers
air.
answered the call about an
No,
assault
that's
on
fine.
East
No, that's good
Ridgecrest
stuff.
Boulevard.
That's good stuff.
Officers found the
Hey,
injured
you want to
victim
host
suffering severe
Wednesday,
head trauma.
August
After
the
allegedly beating the victim
6th?
with a bat, the suspect fled the area with the man's bicycle, phone, and backpack. Detectives say the 27-year-old Benjamin
All right, let
Edward
me know.
Herrera had already been
Oh,
wanted
okay, let
by
me
the
know.
Department of Corrections. He was later
Okay,
arrested
just let me
in
know.
Ventura County. The city
Okay.
of Bakersfield may have been all aboard the crazy train with the late great Ozzy Osbourne. City officials, not so much. After he reportedly bit the head off a bat during a show in Des Moines, Iowa, he had to have a tetanus shot, and a city ordinance was passed, making it impossible for him to repeat the same stunt in Bakersfield. The ordinance passed on June 9th, 1982. It read, "No person shall knowingly, nor shall any device, machine, or contrivance be used to maim, injure, or kill any animal animal, including fowl, during any live theatrical or musical performance in the city.
Can you talk me through it?
Played many shows in Bakersfield.
All right, I might call you tonight.
Prices are coming down in the Kern County real estate market.
'Cause
More
I'm pretty
homes
sure I
are
got
listed,
apps.
but there are fewer buyers. According to the Crabtree report, demand has fallen by 4.8%, while supply has increased by 10.1%. And the Kern County Sheriff's Office invites the community to join them at the Dunkin' on Allen Road from 5 to 7 p.m. this evening for their Dunkin' for a Difference event. Their aim is to support Cadet Post 519
Hey,
during
Siri,
their summer donation drive.
define
I'm Bill
sedacious.
Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks.
Hey,
on
Siri,
News Talk 96.1
define
and
sedacious.
AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. Let them bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 23rd day of July. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1, AM 1180 KERN. We stream live at KERNradio.com. Bottom of the hour, we'll tell you about, and you'll hear from Lindsay Snyder. For those not in the know, she is the owner of the In-N-Out franchise, and they're leaving the great state of California. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. Coming up at 5, there is new information about the accidental death of Malcolm Jamal Warner. We'll share that with you. And we'll talk a little baseball. Somebody in the chat room, Sheila's mom, you want to know what she said about me? This might be one of the ugliest things a listener has ever said about Ralph Bailey. She said, Ralph, you are a fair weather friend to Dodgers. Shame on you. Say what? Let me tell you something, Sheila's mom. I've been a Dodger fan probably longer. No, my audience is old. I forgot. Probably as long as we've both been alive. I'm as old as Dodger Stadium. We were born the same summer of August of 1962. And I'm a huge Dodger fan. We're just going through some tumult right now. And as I said, I'm not worried about winning the division. We're going to win the division. We're going to, if not win the division, we're going to get in the playoffs. But the reality is the Dodgers aren't playing well. I get paid every 2 weeks, like clockwork, to be critical of the Trump administration, government, and every now and again we get into sports and I'm critical of my team because I love them so. And you can't deny the fact that Mookie Betts is hitting 235. Mookie was going up against the guy today. This is why you know Mookie's in it. Although he got a single to score the lead run, the tying run, and then Shohei scored the winning run. But he was going up against the starting pitcher for the Twins. That when he was in Boston, he was 6 of 9 against the guy. 6 of 9. He went 0 for 3 against the guy today. That's how biggest thing. And I'm very critical of Tanner Scott, who had 2 saves last year, blew 2 saves last year. We're halfway, just a little bit of halfway through the season. He's blown 7, and now he's on the IL. But there is no stronger Dodger fan than Ralph Bailey. Good, Google it, Google it. It's the worst thing I've ever read about myself. It's a Wednesday. Time to head. Going on?
Not much. Busy week.
How so? What are you up to?
Honestly, I got to come to town. There's a conference on disabilities for elders. I'll be all day, and then Friday I got a doctor appointment, and Saturday. One of those things where I try not to come down here into Bakersfield when I can avoid it, but sometimes you can't help. But I have to drive into the big smoggy bowl there.
Why don't you come down and stay in a hotel for a couple days? You and Mary make a little honeymoon out of it.
After 38 years, the honeymoon's kind of done.
Yeah, true that. 38
It's like
years.
what's on TV. It's more likely that. Oh yeah, a long time.
Wow. The only people I've known for 38 years are people that I went to high school with.
You know what? The sad part is, most of my high school buddies, I only have one or two that are still left. Even and I'm not that old, but it's just amazing that either to pass away in your 50s, you live to be 100. It seems kind of weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is.
After 50, you seem to be kind of safe.
You think? I hope that's true.
I hope.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, you maybe both.
Yeah, I was concerned in my 50s. I really was, but I think I'm on a pretty good trend now.
Well, yeah, you've turned your health around. You've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah,
and you take the right steps. You just need to stop eating the Alfredo sauce and drink more cherry juice, I think.
You're right about that. And I've got a woman that's trying to give me cherry juice, who's going to drop it off at my house, and I was gone a couple of times this week, and I forgot to call her last night. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Chris? Yeah, she's trying to give me cherry juice, and I'm so stupid that I haven't even accepted it. Just ridiculous.
I wonder what it tastes like. I've never had cherry juice.
I haven't either. I haven't either, and I've been.
I hope it's good. It's like maybe it's like cranberry, kind of.
I hope so.
I don't know.
I've people been telling me this for years to drink it.
Yeah, they drank it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting on the allopurinol at the end of the week. I'm still not walking completely, but the good news is I can swing a golf club.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You said this was the worst case you had.
Never gone 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's
it's 3 weeks.
And the older you get, probably the more impact it's going to have. That's part of it.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna get on the allopurinol on the daily. I can't.
And I bet there's not a lot of cherry juice. It's probably like an 8-ounce glass. I hope.
No, she bought it. I think she told me she got it at Lawson's right here next to us, which is even stupider.
Oh, that's not bad. Just buy it there.
I can
When
walk.
We're in California. It's a great store.
Yeah, I could walk there. All right, so you disagree with me that Donald Trump was trying to stay seditious?
Well, I looked up because you know what I always hear a word though. Is there a word that's sedation? Because we all heard sedation. We've heard that repeatedly, obviously.
Yeah.
Especially since January 6th, we hear that all the time. And then I went, is there a word? And I looked it up, and it is a action. In other words, sedition is the act of committing. That letter was seditious. That person was seditious in how they acted. And I had to look it up because, to be honest, I wasn't sure. I went, well, is that a real word? I looked it up, and it was legit. So I'm not sure if he misspoke, but I don't think he did. I think the intent was obvious. Obama was not committing the act of sedation, which would be the correct pronunciation, but he was seditious in what he did. Maybe that's the difference. And I don't, it's kind of splitting hairs, really.
What do you think of
I
this?
don't know. Here's the problem. Regardless of how you feel about Tulsi Gabbard and everybody else, Bondi and all that, it has to go to DOJ. They have to refer it, and it has to have a strong enough case for them to actually bring it to trial, obviously indictments, grand jury, and et cetera.
And isn't that clinically insane?
I don't know because we haven't seen the evidence. They've turned up, they did a FUA release is what it was. How many? I think it was thousands of pages. Was it 4,000 pages, something like that? And they've been going through this page by page. Most of the stuff was classified. They had to do a FUA request. So stuff that we did not even know about is now being found out. And that's when they're finding the email trails and all that. I don't think Obama's going to get charged. I think Brennan and Comey and I think everybody involved below Obama is in serious trouble. And the only way they can go after Obama is to tarnish their reputation by having, say, I'm just going to pick a name at random, say Brennan turn state's evidence. In other words, it gets immunity for prosecution in return for testimony. And they may not be able to charge Obama. I think you're correct on that. But the very least they can do is say, look, this is what this guy does that's proven. We may not be able to charge him because the way the law is doesn't mean he didn't commit it.
So what do you think they can prove? What do you think that they did? You think that Barack Obama led the manufacturing of evidence against Donald Trump?
I think the information, the idea was passed up to him. It started, if you read what, I've been trying to read up on this. It started with the Clinton campaign. They went to the Obama White House and they ran with it. Hillary Clinton financed this whole thing. I'm surprised they're not going after her because she doesn't have the same exemptions Obama has being an ex-president. I'd like to see her indicted more than Obama because she originated the whole thing. She came up with the money.
Exactly.
She steal $11 million.
Exactly.
Obviously, her hands are all over it. She's the one who needs to go to jail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That now, if he had said that she was seditious or seditious, I would agree 100%. But
I hope that happens, but I haven't even seen her name come up.
The difference between what actually happened, the belief that the Russians actually were involved, is different than saying that the Obama administration said that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. That's a chasm of difference.
Well, they read. I watched the news conference. They read Rubio's report word for word, and what it was, the Russians did attempt, were unsuccessful.
As they have since
interference.
as they
years.
as they have since the 1920s. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah.
You think there's ever been an election? You think there's ever been an election? Howard, you ever think there's been an election where the Russians haven't tried to interfere?
Oh, I think it goes back to Alger Hiss, the Rosenberg.
Thank you.
There's been spies and there's been plots forever.
Forever.
That's not a modern thing even. That goes way back. I mean,
That's what I said. I think it goes back to Lenin. I think it goes back to the early 20th century.
Yeah, I think so. And if you look at history, but the fact that now in the internet, the difference is now obviously when you have aspects of the way the voting works, electronic voting, and aspects of computer hacking and all that, it's much more serious because rather than being some kind of Boris Badenov bad plot, now you have things where there theoretically wouldn't even be a footprint if they get into the voting machines. And that was all the thing with Dominion and all that. That's what they were worried about. And they had found that there were attempts to hack into it. They were unsuccessful. But it doesn't. If they were successful, would we ever know? It depends, because some of these cyber attacks are very sophisticated. The only way to deal with this thing is deal with the fact that you have. You and I will have to sit and wait and see what DOJ does, who they charge. I think they're going to charge everybody below Obama. I'd be stunned if they charged Obama, because I think that is, while possibly true, I think that's a weaker case. I think the fingerprints on it, very clearly show Brennan, Comey, everybody involved below him, and Hillary Clinton and her campaign.
Push the Steele dossier.
Do what?
They pushed the Steele dossier.
Oh yeah. Well, and Hillary Clinton paid for it. It was $11. You know, she paid that guy $11 million. I just read that $11 million for him to gin up this fake dossier, and nobody vetted it because they didn't want it to be not true.
So you don't think this is a diversion, a distraction to get off the Epstein story?
No, because the Epstein story is going to go on for a while. They actually attempted to have the grand jury things, and now his girlfriend's being subpoenaed. I think it's all going to come out. Whether Trump's on the list or not, I don't think is the point, because he obviously wasn't there actively as a pedophile. He was a social guy back then. You see him with photos going back 30 years with people now that hate his guts. You've seen those photos. He gets awards with the NAACP. He's with the Clintons. He was, before he ran for president, everybody loved him on that left. So whether he was friends with Epstein, yeah, there's photos of them together, just like any other celebrity was friends with anybody else. Epstein was a good guy at that point. Otherwise, why were people associating with him? And the ones that really had evil designs on them, like Prince Andrew, that wasn't public knowledge.
This absolutely stuns me, Howard. You're one of the smartest cats I know. And you honestly believe that this has nothing to do with Tulsi Gabbard being in the doghouse and trying to scrape her way out, and it's not three-card money, don't look at Epstein, look at this, and that there's a possibility that Barack Obama manufactured evidence to try to slam Donald Trump?
No, I don't think he manufactured evidence. I agree.
Well, that's her thesis.
I think his campaign staff below him and his White House officials, which we already showed from the documents they've released, show that Brennan and Comey pushed the narrative, even though the intelligence at the time said there was no collusion. They reversed that and pushed it and published it. There wasn't Obama's fingerprints directly on the document, but people he appointed were involved in it. So a smart president doesn't do anything. Ever since Watergate, I think we've learned that a smart president doesn't put his fingerprints on anything that doesn't get directly involved, like the Nixon tapes. I don't think you're going to find Obama anywhere on record doing something specific. I think everything was off the record, if he did anything. I do know that we do have factual evidence based on declassified documents that show people below him were actively involved in colluding with the Clinton campaign on the dossier. Where that goes, I don't know. I'd like to see some indictments, and I figure if they do this, someone eventually is going to have to flip to avoid going to some serious jail time, and then we'll see what comes out.
Well, here's what the director of national intelligence, who clearly disagrees with you, here's what Tulsi Gabbard said.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
No, I saw that news conference and heard that this morning. The important thing to see is what evidence they turn over to DOJ, what is presented to a grand jury, and if indictments come out of it. That's the one thing we have to wait and see. If there's real evidence, I'm not saying I'm incorrect or she's lying. I'm just saying you and I haven't seen the information that's been presented. We only know what they've said in writing and in that conference, that they've got evidence based on declassified documents. We don't know what that is. We don't know how strong the evidence is.
Well, she claims it's irrefutable.
Fingerprints were on it. Well, but
She claims it's absolutely irrefutable. She just said that.
That's for the DOJ. Remember, she makes the referral. I used to deal with the U.S. attorney on these referrals for criminal charges. She makes the referral to the DOJ and the U.S. attorney. They make the decision whether or not to press it further if they feel the evidence is sufficient, and then they go from there to a grand jury, and then the indictments are issued. So we're way early in the process.
So why didn't they do this in the first administration? Why didn't the DNI director find this in the first 4 years of the Trump administration? You're telling me that Tulsi Gabbard's that much smarter than I think the 2 or 3 DNI director of national intelligence that served under Trump the first time?
I think some of this
She found something that they couldn't?
Well, they did a FUA request. They didn't do a FUA request originally. And I think he had, we remember all the stuff. He's going through impeachment repeatedly. He's got court cases out the wazoo. The first administration, I agree with someone commentator that said he almost should get a do-over, that almost shouldn't count. He spent the entire time battling in the courts against impeachment and lawsuits and all that. He got very little accomplished compared to what he's doing now. And I think this was a minor issue at the time. He had his hands full with everything else. Well, now they've actually had 4 years to plan on how to proceed. And this administration is leaps and bounds ahead of his first term of what they're doing. And I think in the first term, he had his hands full, to put it simply. Look at what he's accomplished just in the last 6 months. Kerry comes out and says the border he's right on the border. A anti-Trump left-wing politician, long ties to the left, comes out and said Trump was right. So you look at what he's accomplished just in 6 months. And compared to his first term, when he got hardly anything done, he spent all his time trying to quash these injunctions. Well, the Supreme Court finally got their act in gear and ruled it. And every time I hear a district judge issue a ruling on Trump, I just sit back and wait for it to be overturned, because that's almost 100% happening.
Yeah.
Almost every time a district judge steps forward, even on the one in this grand jury testimony on the Epstein files, I think that's going to be overturned also. I think they're going to release the information because they've got an appeal on it. He's won almost every appeal. And then we'll really see.
Do you think they're going to release grand jury testimony?
Well, they've appealed the district judge's decision not to unseal it. It's now for the Supreme Court to decide. And I don't know the legal precedent for either sealing or unsealing. Usually it's sealed.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can unseal it, but that's the Supreme Court's going to make that decision. And lately they've been ruling in his favor. He's been batting, your Dodger analogy, he's been batting pretty well.
Yeah, this is his court. That's what I said. The legacy of Donald Trump will be, no matter what he accomplishes, will be the Supreme Court, because this is going to last for another 20 years.
Well, the good news is, because Thomas has talked about stepping down, and some of the other judges, I think Thomas is over 80 now. I think he's got 3 more years to appoint Supreme Court justices to continue that tradition. And then theoretically, if Vance wins, you've got another 4 years, and then you'll outweigh the 3 liberal knuckleheads on the court also. I unfortunately, I think they're fairly incompetent. They were political hirees for DEI reasons, I feel, to a certain extent. And you've seen their dissenting opinions that make, they've been in check by the other justices. So, long story short, this is all minor stuff. The long-term effects on our economy and our country make the Epstein files and everything else we're looking at minor. Look at the long term. He's made a dramatic change to our country, and this is continuing. But I'm curious to see what happens. I agree with you. I want to see what happens with the Epstein files. I want to see what happens with this collusion report. And I think we won't know until the charges are either dropped or brought.
Yep. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Always good to talk to you, sir. Get back to me on that other thing, and I'll wrap to you next Wednesday.
All right, you have a good weekend now. Go do some golfing.
I am. I absolutely am. Thanks, Pop.
All right, talk to you later.
I'm in. Howard Marcus. Quick time out. Not a lot of time before we get to the bottom of the hour. Read a couple of text messages. Get into the 4:30 hour, where we'll hear from Lindsay Snyder, owner of In-N-Out. She explains why the franchise is moving to the South. And I don't mean LA or San Diego. Quick break. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1, AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
Messmaker.
Thursday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show. We will dive into the ongoing battle surrounding Russiagate and the latest on what in the world is going to come of all of those allegations as more evidence unspools. More from the murder out in Idaho, and Bill O'Reilly swings by to hang out with us. You won't want to miss it. Thursday edition, Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hope you're with us tomorrow, especially at 4:30 when our money man, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us. I've got some questions for Daniel tomorrow about Social Security. So for those of you approaching your 60s or in your 60s, ought to be interesting. Hope you'll tune in. And of course, you know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. They're all about retirement. If it's staring you in the mug, call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400. Just make sure to tune in tomorrow at 4:30 when he joins us every Thursday at that time. And of course, their office is located right on the corner of 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or NPWA DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe.
Hey, is
If
Sam
you're
here?
afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment,
Huh?
don't lose hope.
I can't tell. You close the blinds.
Oh, that's right.
He probably is, though, I would assume.
If you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment,
Maybe not. Looks like they're all gone.
struggling taxpayers,
He usually parks right in front of us.
Yeah.
economic
He's been
times,
driving
a
his dad's
hotline
car.
has been established by tax
Remember all
relief
that time we
advocates
thought
for you
Raj
to
was
call
here?
and see what you
It
qualify
wasn't. He's
for.
been driving his
They are
dad's
A+
car.
rated with
Huh?
the BBB and have over
Why is he driving his dad's car? Because he's out of town?
Oh, something wrong with the truck? Oh.
Oh, maybe.
47 800-575.
Because it's not like Raj to be here in
Text
August.
800-575-7147.
Why would, I mean, in July. Why would you be here when we got a
TRA.com.
place in
Must
Martha's
qualify for
Vineyard?
enrollment.
Results may
I know
vary.
my
You're listening to the
black
Ralph
behind
Bailey
wouldn't
Show.
be here
Catch
for it.
me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, New 6.1 at AM 1180 KERN.
You knew before. Coming up in 5, we've got some new information on the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner. This thing could have been avoided. This thing should have been avoided. I'll explain when we get to the top of the hour. And the Dodgers are on their way to Boston after they talk to reporters and take a shower. They're jumping on a charter plane and headed to Fenway Park, one of my bucket lists. What's the best stadium you've ever been to?
Dodger. That's a really, it's a small sample size for me.
You've never been to any other stadium?
Oh, no, I've been to 4.
Where you been?
So I've been to Dodgers, Angels, Petco, and Arizona.
Arizona? I've never been to Arizona. I mean, I've never been to the stadium. I've
I've never been to Arizona during a game. I got to do a walk around while I was there visiting.
I've been to Candlestick and the new one. I've been to Anaheim. I've been to Jack Murphy. I've never been to Petco.
I know if we're talking football stadiums too, I have a whole bunch to add on to that.
Well, Jack Murphy was their baseball stadium too, wasn't it?
I think so. But I've also been to.
But I
Kansas
was there for a
and
football
Levi.
game. I've been to Fulton County Stadium. I've been to Turner Stadium, but I've never been out in Smyrna in the new one. I've been to Camden Yards.
I want to go to the Inuit Dome.
I've been to Shea Stadium when we lived in New York. And I think that's about it. My claim to fame, though, is Camden Yards. That was fun. It's an interesting park. I love the way they've got vendors out in the back part of the stadium, and there's a stand-up area where you can watch from outside. We head into the last half hour of the four. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
AM 1180
They've got chocolate chips in them.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A subcommittee of the House Committee on Oversight has voted to subpoena the Department of Justice for files in the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. 3 Republicans on the panel voted with Democrats for the subpoena, sending it through on an 8-2 vote tally. Republican Subcommittee Chairman Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana says that the draft of the subpoena is beginning. The Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to remove 3 Democratic members of the Consumer Product Safety Commission who had been fired by President Trump and then reinstated by a federal judge. The justices acted Wednesday on an emergency appeal from the Justice Department. On Wall Street, the Dow by 507 points. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
All right, you got the, I sent you the
KERN News
in and out audio, right?
live and
Okay.
local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A man has been arrested who allegedly beat another man with a baseball bat at a hotel in Ridgecrest last week. On July 16th, police officers answered the call about an assault on East Ridgecrest Boulevard. Officers found the injured victim suffering severe head trauma. After allegedly beating the victim with a bat, the suspect fled the area with the man's bicycle, phone, and backpack. 27-year-old Benjamin Edward Herrera was later arrested in Ventura County. Prices are coming down in the Kern County real estate market. More homes are listed, but there are fewer buyers. According to the Crabtree report, demand has fallen by
With some other guy
4.8%, while
you knew
supply has
before.
increased by 10.1%. I'm Bill
Baby,
Robbins in
baby.
the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
King Door Company continues to set the standard in the garage door industry, and I'm here to tell you a few of the reasons why. First off, King Door carries Clopay garage panels and LiftMaster openers, so you're guaranteed quality and reliability well beyond the reach of most garage door companies, and it just gets better from there. King Door has a fleet of fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and tools to handle any job quickly and efficiently, and those trucks are manned by the most knowledgeable technicians anywhere. They have all the technical expertise imaginable and the most up-to-the-minute training available. In fact, King Door is so committed to training that they have the King Door Academy, a full-size, state-of-the-art classroom right on the premises with all the latest teaching aids, including working garage doors to simulate any installation, repair, or technique. Your garage door is a very important part of the safety, security, and look of your home, so don't trust it to anyone but King Door Company. Call them today at 397-2744, stop by the showroom at 7450 District Boulevard, or check them out online at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, your company with the pride of a lion.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
And
Eight 842 KERN. Don't forget, you can subscribe on YouTube and actually watch JR and myself, Mr. Cox, has somehow refused. I only found out today through Randy that he just.
Well, he's not refusing per se.
Why won't he do it?
And that I'm not 100% sure. I think it ties more to social media and him having to be active on there. But again, I'm not 100% sure exactly what his reasons are. We're going to probably move him into this as well, though, very soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's a company thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, since when do people get to choose what you do at work? And he was mean to Daisy today. I listened in. He was bagging on her youth and trying to explain, I don't resent you. It's your youth. And I know he's trying to be funny, but she's a 24, 25-year-old girl, and this is her first day producing by herself, or was it yesterday? Let me just mind my own business. What?
I've gotten grief every single day from you.
You're a 31-year-old man who's been hosting shows for how long?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. So when she's 30, 5 years from now, you can give her crap.
No,
when she's starting a new gig.
When I started with
your first day, I gave you crap.
Yes.
Well, you're a grown-ass man.
Really?
You really don't see the difference between you and Daisy?
I'm not saying there's not a difference.
Okay, then. So then what's your point? You really don't see a difference?
Whatever, it's fine. Whatever. Go for it.
Okay. I'm shocked you can't see the difference between that young woman who comes on and is like, Ralph. I mean, she's just a little demure, like, I don't know. Well, let me just mind my own business. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got on board?
Ralph, I know you're a media guy, but you need to learn to be patient. What do you think of Tulsi Gabbard now?
My opinion of Tulsi Gabbard has never changed. I think it's bizarre that a woman of her age changes parties. And you say, well, Ralph, you did it. No, I was much younger. And I did it in a more kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Slow process. I first became an independent. And then I found out that as a member of the independent party, I had to vote for an independent candidate. And as I've always talked about, it was Phil Wyman, very famous politician through the 90s and the early part of the 21st century. It was his wife, Lynn, who invited me to speak at a women's federated meeting up in Tehachapi. And we became friends, and I became closer friends with her daughter. It's a really neat woman. She's a mom now and has kids. And she did something just I thought was cute and funny. She sent me a pan of elephant cookies and said something like, get your butt off the fence and just become a Republican. And I thought that was funny. And I was like, she's right. It'll probably help the show because I vote Republican anyway. I don't vote for Joe Schmidt, the independent. So I might as well just officially, and I officially became. But for a woman in the world of politics to run for president as a Democrat, crap out, and then say, oh, well, all of my liberal beliefs have gone away, and now I'm a Republican. I mean, if there was like some nuance between being a Democrat and a Republican, I could see that. But there's a chasm between being a Democrat and a Republican. And that's why I say I did it in kind of an evolution, because it was one thing after another. The first thing that disgusted me were the Clintons. 1992, I move up here. I'm 30, just turning 30 years old. And for the first time in my life, I voted for the winning president. I voted for Carter, and actually, I did not vote for Jimmy Carter. Many of you know that story. I'm not going to retell it. Just real quick, the Reader's Digest version. We went down into the gym at Morehouse College. We were standing in line. It was about 7 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock Pacific time, and Tom Brokaw announced that Ronald Reagan had won. And my roommate, George Gathers, came down because our whole floor went down and voted together. And we were standing in this line, sweating like a pig in November in the damn gym, even though it was like 45 degrees outside. And George said, "Hey, fellas, it's over." We're like, "What are you talking about? It's 7 o'clock." And he's like, "Well, that guy on NBC just said Reagan won." And we're like, "Are you serious?" And he goes, "Would I walk down to the gym to tell you all this if I was messing with you?" And we were like, kind of looked at each other. We were all like, "Well, let's go back upstairs and go play spades." And I never voted. The only presidential election I didn't vote in was my very first one in 1980. So I voted for Mondale in 84. I even went to Columbia to watch the debate. Oh, no, that was with his vice president, Geraldine Ferraro versus Dan Quayle? No, 84. It was Reagan. So it was George Herbert Walker Bush. Even went to Columbia to see that. 88, I voted for Michael Dukakis, who I knew was going to lose because I covered the campaign because of Jesse Jackson. I was working for the Los Angeles Sentinel, a black newspaper who at the time was located in South Central. Now they're in the Crenshaw Mall, and they've got a huge, huge following now, following OJ, where they're, it's a black newspaper, if you didn't know. And after OJ, their subscription rate went out the roof. And then the riots, Rodney King, and a man by the name of, and black folks know this man, Danny Bakewell. He is a really famous entrepreneur in Los Angeles. And he bought the Sentinel from the guy that I worked for, Earl Thomas, who married, it's a great story. He was one of those guys that kind of bent the law and was not that ethical, because it's not ethical to marry your client. And he represented a girl by the name of Jennifer. I only knew her as Jennifer Thomas because she married our publisher. But she was, do you remember, are you old enough to remember Nate Archibald?
Name
played for the Kansas City, what was Kansas City called?
Is baseball?
Basketball. The Kansas City
Kings, probably.
Kings. That's exactly what they were. You're right, because they moved to Sacramento. They were the Kansas City Kings, and then he played for the. He played in with Boston, Bird's rookie year, and then I think he retired. He was a tiny little. They called him Tiny Nate Archibald, and he was married to Jennifer Thomas, who was gorgeous and half Mr. Thomas's age, and he represented her in her divorce, got her a bunch of money from Nate, and then married her. Which, as the lawyers that are listening to me know, it's not against the law, but it's a little funky. You know what I mean? Where was I going with the story? Anyway, yeah, he sold it to Danny Bakewell. Bakewell has lifted it up. But the point of the story is I got to cover the 88 Democratic convention and that whole campaign because of Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson was an afterthought. And then he started screwing around and winning a couple of primaries. I believe he won one in Michigan. And he had enough delegates. He had about 300, 400 delegates where he could have turned the convention upside down. Dukakis could not get the nomination. I think you needed like 1,100 delegate votes to win. And he couldn't get there without Jackson. And in fact, that was my story, was to try to figure out what Jesse was going to do. Because again, if he had walked out of that convention with all of his delegates, then it goes to the floor and the convention would have determined who the nominee is. Now, they probably would have likely elected Dukakis, but it would have been an absolute mess. And do you know that Michael Dukakis left Atlanta with a 17-point lead. I will never forget that. There were two things that stood out in that convention. That's when I was determined I was going to quit. I quit the Sentinel about a month later because I scammed. I used to be good friends with Mike Davis. He was a field op for Maxine Waters. And I dealt a lot with Maxine Waters because she, at the time, represented on the city council. I don't think she was in Congress yet in '88, but I was really close with Maxine Waters and really close with Mike Davis. Not close friends with her, but I just covered her a lot. She knew who I was. She'd always say, "Hi, Ralph." And she was a god back then. She represented Jordan Downs and some of the horrible neighborhoods in LA and was a hero to these people. She really delivered as a city council member. And Davis was the one that told me that Bill Clinton was going to be the next president. He told me that in like '90. And I was like, I said, Mike, you're the smartest political guy I know, but this is your first screw up because no backwoods governor from Arkansas is going to live in the White House. I can tell you that. And I could not have been more wrong. And I left that convention knowing that Dukakis was going to lose, even though he had a 17-point lead. He was a short little guy. I never met him, but I was in a news conference with him. He just didn't look presidential. And Bush, they had their convention a couple of weeks later, and Bush wiped out that 17-point lead. I think they left the Republican convention down 5, and that was the whole talk. Then it went from 17 to 5, and the momentum was Bush, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. And then Dukakis, and there were two major things that happened in that '88 convention. The Willie Horton ad, where the Bush administration came up with this ad. Dukakis had a kind of a furlough program where he was letting prisoners out for a period of time. And Willie Horton was a mean-looking black guy. And I have to say that because much of the criticism of this ad was that it was a racist ad. And he was one of the guys that was in the Dukakis, because Dukakis was governor of Massachusetts. And he was part of the program, part of the furlough program. And while out on furlough, he committed a murder. And the ad was a revolving door at a prison and Willie Horton walking out. And of course, it led to his murder. And then Dukakis tried, that was one thing. The second thing was, again, if you're over 60, you remember this, Dukakis, or 55, Dukakis tried to get into a tank and drive around. And we don't have a helmet or anything on, but he tried to put on a military helmet. And like I said, he was a little guy. He was about 5'9", maybe, no, not 5'10". He's 5'9" at tops. And he's just swimming in this helmet, just swimming in it. Look, and he's trying to look all presidential. He's riding his Jeep and he's all pointing like, what are you pointing at? You ain't driving the Jeep. What are you? And he's trying to look all presidential. Meantime, he looks like a 12-year-old wearing his dad's hat. And it just bombed. And it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. And the only reason George Bush, let's go. Only reason George Bush lost re-election, 2 reasons. Read my lips, no new taxes, and then he raised taxes. And 2 words, Ross Perot. Ross Perot got like 20% of the vote. Imagine an independent getting into the 24 or the 20 or the 16 election for that matter, or even the elections with Obama. Imagine a liberal Democrat getting in 2008 and getting 20% of the vote. Barack Obama could not win. And that's what happened. The votes that Perot took were all Republican votes. Bill Clinton won without 50% of the vote. Became president without 50%, without a majority. Unbelievable. Quick time out. Check the board, see what you all are talking about. We'll get into the 5. There's new information on the Costa Rican death of Theo Huxtable, a.k.a. Malcolm Jamal Warner. We'll get into that. The Dodgers winging their way to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, taking on the Red Sox, who are red hot in Fenway Park as the 6-game homestand ends mercifully with a 9-inning walk-off base hit from Freddie Freeman, scoring Mookie Betts, Mookie, and Shohei Ohtani, who hit his 37th home run of the season, won behind the big dumper, and his 5th in a row to tie a Dodger record. 5 games straight. Shohei's not hitting, but when he does, they're all home runs, Jack. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN. We stream live, kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.
Casey.
You got one that's up to date? I'll do it.
I have one that I need to pull. I just haven't gotten a chance to actually upload it yet.
10 wealthiest counties in America. What do they have in common? And a bunch of other news stories that we need to check on. How about the war in Ukraine in that 50 days? How close are we getting to the end? And will Trump stick by it? Next, Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now that I'm walking capably, I believe I'm going to stroll up to KC Steakhouse tonight and have a little protein. I haven't had some red meat, trying to eat well with my gout and everything. But every now and then you can cheat. And I don't know about you guys. I know the ribeye is probably the most popular steak at the best steakhouse in Kern County. But I'm more of a New York guy. And the filet, the way Daniel and Luis cook the filet, you could cut it with a fork. It's just the best steaks in town, bar none. And the ambiance, and you guys know because you voted them best steakhouse in Kern County. You also voted them best ambiance. Just a great place to be. Check out the Stockyard next door where they provide live music on Thursdays and Saturday nights. And I always remind you, Bobby and Jimmy are providing live music in the main restaurant Tuesday through Saturday. Where would you rather be than on F Street at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, this is JR for Bakersfield Weight Loss. Let's talk about
your favorite caller is also waiting for you.
Who? There's so many. 49er Larry,
Yeah,
Cindy.
Larry, it's Larry.
Are you serious?
Yeah, do you want him or no?
Of course. You know,
We
we're
got
gonna hang
John,
up.
too.
We're gonna hang up on him. Okay. Get John first.
John first? Okay.
Get Larry first.
Well, did you just say that over there? Because he might have just heard you too.
Oh.
He might be prepping for it.
We'll bring him in.
What you don't hear about these injections? Many people are facing failed results,
Chris.
bad side effects, rising costs, or simply want to get off the injections. At Bakersfield Weight Loss, they offer a breakthrough natural approach to help reset your metabolism to get the weight off fast and easy and keep it off without exercising, prepackaged foods, or counting calories. They helped me do it. I lost 25 pounds and have kept the weight off. Schedule your free consultation today at bakersfieldweightloss.com or call 661-449-1150. Results may vary.
The Department of Energy says power outages could surge 10,000% over the next few years, thanks to power-hungry AI data centers. With the grid already struggling to keep up with demand, now is the time to prepare. My Patriot Supply is making it easy with their Christmas in July bundle, featuring the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator. And for a limited time, they're including over $1,000 in free survival gear along with it. Emergency food, water filtration, backup power, and essential tools. The Grid Doctor delivers 3,300 watts of power, enough to run your fridge, CPAP, power tools, and more. It's whisper quiet, gas-free, and completely off-grid. When the next power outage hits, you'll be glad you planned ahead. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio. That's mypatriotsupply.com/radio. And grab the Christmas in July bundle while it lasts. Blackouts are coming. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio and get prepared today.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Curtis Mayfield. Hush now, child. Don't you cry. So move on up. 812-537-6842 KERN. Who you got?
49 Larry's on the line.
Oh, Lord. Yes, Larry.
Yeah, this is 49 Larry. I'm just calling. I'm watching on YouTube. I'm just calling to tell you Scott Cox was very professional.
Okay, thanks. Who else you got?
Now you got John.
John, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, Ralph, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Great. Thanks for asking. A couple of things. Now, I know you got bombarded with remedies and this and that for gout. That's not why I'm here.
That's okay. I'm open to all of them.
Okay. Well, to the cherry juice thing.
Yeah.
I found out accidentally. I started drinking cherry juice because I thought I might have gout. And anyway, I was told also it could help with sleeping.
Really?
That's what they told me.
Ooh.
And yeah, see, I love the cherry juice, the red 100% tart cherry juice from Trader Joe's. And
Yeah.
I know you like Trader Joe's.
I love Trader Joe's.
It's really good. So I would go there and I would buy it. And they would the cashier would ask me, do you have gout or do you have trouble sleeping or both? Oh, I didn't know about the sleeping thing.
Me either.
Anyway, yeah. So I don't think it'll work as well as THC, but you never know.
THC doesn't work. I've tried it.
Okay.
I really do.
That's out then.
Yeah.
Well, then there are two. So sort of combining all these things together, the THC, the sleeping, and whatnot, I found out accidentally that cherry juice. Now this is also it's an opinion thing, so some might not go for it. But
Right,
I
I hear you.
ran out of cranberry juice one night, and I had to have something to go in my vodka. And that cherry juice is even, again, personal opinion, way better than cranberry juice.
Cherry juice and vodka.
Yes. And listen, if you want to get fancy and you got some club soda, pour a little of that in there and you'll get a little bubble.
I've got some club soda at the house. When I was nauseous, I was drinking club soda and bitters. So I actually have some club soda in my fridge right now.
You put a little bit of that with that cherry juice and some vodka, you got yourself a good cocktail right there.
I gotta call Rita. I gotta get that cherry juice, or just go buy Lawson's when I go home. I gotta try this stuff. All right, that's great advice, man. I really appreciate that.
I'm glad you like it.
All right, man. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
Yeah, I gotta get on this cherry juice, especially now that I can throw a little vodka, get it up on its feet. I didn't ask him what it tastes like. Just straight. Dang it. He did say it was tart. I'm sure it is.
I wouldn't.
I didn't think it was
gonna
going to
be
be sweet.
It's not gonna be like maraschino cherry. juice.
No, thank God.
Yeah.
I hate maraschino cherries.
gonna
Loved
be-
them as a kid. Loved them as a kid. I would ask. We'd go to what's the pirate restaurant? There used to be one in in Valley Plaza. The pirate restaurant. Jolly Rogers. Jolly Rogers. That was one of our things our parents would take us to. It's like you guys want to go to Jolly Rogers? And we loved it because they had I loved it because they had a crossword puzzle. And I was not a big crayon guy. They give you the thing where you could color. I'd give that to my sister. And I learned how to tie, and I would ask for 4 cherries in my Shirley Temple. And my mother would always intercede, just bring in 2. And that's when I learned how to I can tie and I know a lot of people have this skill. Can you do this? Can you tie a knot into the stem of a cherry?
I've been able to do it twice, but I can never actually figure out how I do it.
I can do it. My tongue is magic. And there's a really filthy joke there, but I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. We
Moving
got
on to the next
Yeah,
subject
we got
here.
a little body the other day. That's about as body as it's gonna get. Remember our discussion the other day with the cherry juice woman? That was an interesting conversation. See, that's the kind of show I would like to do. Like an adult show where we could openly talk about sex and things like that. I would love to do a show like that. But, the confines of the FCC. But there are no FCC regulations on YouTube.
Nope.
But I've calmed down. I've learned. I haven't turned off the mic. I've just learned to just when I walk into a room, tell everybody I've got a hot mic on. I think it's fascinating for them to listen in on what we talk about. Like you and I, we were just discussing the
Well,
audio.
I don't know how much they hear us because the mic is pointed at you. It's mostly just you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I would like to know if anybody in the chat wants to chime in on that on YouTube side. I'm not 100% sure how much they hear of the outside of you.
Well, I think when we're in a room, in a closed room, like if I came in your studio right now with the door closed and we were having a conversation,
you could pick me
they
up
could hear it. Yeah, I think so. But do we have time for that audio? No, we don't. Let's get into the 5 and we'll talk about In-N-Out, moving to the South, leaving the state of California. You'll hear from Lindsay Snyder, the woman that owns the franchise. You know, Phil Mickelson is still trying to talk her into buying, selling him a franchise. He's been trying to buy a franchise for 12 years, and she will not sell. She is living up to her grandparents' promise that it will stay in the family. I hope she has some kids. She's married. She's a beautiful woman, too. Think about the guy that married her. Good Googling, Mowgli. Headed into the 5. Don't go anywhere.
This is AM 1180 KERN, Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM, Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Party leaders continue to battle over the release of the Epstein files. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says it's worth asking why Republicans have not voted to release more Jeffrey Epstein files.
It's reasonable to conclude
Jen,
that Republicans are continuing to protect the lifestyles of the rich and shameless, even if that includes pedophiles.
While House Speaker Mike Johnson says he will not force a vote on
And I haven't heard
legislation
from
urging
Sam.
the release
I don't know
of
where
more
he is.
Jeffrey Epstein records.
There's no point in having a vote today because the administration
Baby's
is
what?
already doing everything within their power to release them. They've gone to the grand jury.
I wouldn't blame him.
requested the courts to unseal the documents so that they can be released. The president
So
himself
move
has said
up,
all
up.
credible evidence should be put out to the American people.
A subcommittee of the House Committee on Oversight voted 8-2 Wednesday to subpoena the Department of Justice for the files. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri had to be escorted off the stage after he was approached by a pro-Palestinian protester at an event in Washington today.
So move
Bob
on
Agnew
up.
reports.
Hawley attended the Axios News
Bum,
Shapers
bum,
Forum in
bum,
Washington
bum.
and was being interviewed when a demonstrator approached and began shouting that Hawley, who supports Israel, supports the starvation of children because of the ongoing war in Gaza. Other protesters held up signs and shouted similar claims. Later, when things calmed down, Hawley returned to the stage to a round of applause and told the crowd it was, quote, just another day in the Senate. Bob Agnew reporting.
A judge has ordered Brian Koberger to serve life in prison without parole for killing 4 University of Idaho students. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 507 points. The Nasdaq rose 127. The S&P advanced 49. More at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Looked at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. said,
I don't have any water. How much time I got?
Fight
Chris.
pain naturally with
Chris.
Relief Factor.
How much
Go
time
to
I got?
relieffactor.com
How much
and
time
get
I
your
got?
3-week quick start today. Only
minutes?
$19.95.
Healthcare is complicated. It
I
doesn't
got
have to be.
time.
If you don't love
Yo
how your health
tengo
insurance
tiempo.
works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance
Por
behind.
la agua.
Take charge of your
Por la
health care with
Rafael.
a Christian healthcare ministry.
Yo necesito una agua,
CHM
muy
offers
sed.
you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and
Yo
select the
tengo
program
muy
that fits
sed.
your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk. And AM
No.
1180
I can't chew ice.
Woman who allegedly
Like, you know how
charged
people like to
police
chew ice?
officers with a knife
Oh,
is
that
in the
gives me-
hospital
oh,
after an officer
my
involved
skin
shooting
crawl.
outside the
So I'm
Walmart
not
in
a-
Southwest Bakersfield. Police were called to the Walmart on Gosford Road for a reported assault inside.
I know
the
JR
store.
is.
Police asked to talk to Deshaney Holmes outside, but she kept her hand inside her purse until officers say she pulled a knife and came at them. When a taser didn't work, an officer opened fire and she was hit. She was taken to the hospital and later booked into the Lerdo jail. A man from Porterville is out thousands of dollars after he unknowingly bought stolen heavy equipment online. The Tulare County Sheriff's Office answered a call about stolen equipment. Turns out it was stolen in Las Vegas. The victim told deputies he purchased it on Facebook Marketplace. The Sheriff's Office is warning people to request a VIN number verification from law enforcement before buying vehicles or heavy equipment. A high-speed chase led to the arrest of a 19-year-old man by a Shafter police sergeant on weapons charges. Just before 11:45 a.m. Saturday, the sergeant was on routine patrol in the area of East Lerdo Highway and saw a vehicle fail to stop for a red traffic light. The driver sped away after reaching speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour, heading east on the highway until becoming disabled in a dirt field. John Troy Pacey Spell tried to run away but was quickly caught. He reportedly had an AR-15 rifle and ammunition. His bail is set at $130,000. There are 10% fewer homeless people on the street. That's according to the latest point-in-time report. That figure covers the Bakersfield metro area, including Oildale. Officials cite this as progress toward their functional zero goal for the next 10 years. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this hump day, Wednesday, 23rd day of July. It is the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live. KERNradio.com. Our phone number, 842-5376, 842-KERN. Feel free to chime in. And, of course, you can subscribe and watch the broadcast. Tell them how they can subscribe, Mr. Burdick.
Just go to YouTube, and in that little search bar right there at the top, you're going to type in the @sign. You need the @sign, otherwise you're not going to get the right one, plus Kern Radio. Then you'll see a little page there with our logo. Just go ahead and subscribe right there, and it'll tell you anytime that JR and Ralph are live.
I try to watch it. I really do.
It's weird watching stuff on video.
There was something going. I wanted to I wanted to hear the Goldner interview again. And so I just said, well, I'll just start at the beginning. And I got about 10 minutes in, and I was like, I should just skip to the Goldner. I never even saw the Goldner interview. I watched like 10 minutes of it, and I just can't. Like, if I was interacting with somebody and something was going on, I could watch it. But just watching me, and I'm like, why do I wipe my face? Why am I burping during the commercials? Why am I just picking? I'm just like, just get it off. Just get it off. Just don't even watch this. I just can't. I was like that when I was in television. I hated to watch, and I was called unprofessional. They brought in a consultant to talk to all, when I was at KBAK, they called in a consultant to talk to all the anchors. I was a weekend anchor, and she got to me and she said, well, how often do you go back and watch your tapes? And I said, never. And she looked at me like I was a Martian. She was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I hate watching myself. And I was a decent looking kid when I was young. And she was like, that is really unprofessional. I was like, oh my God, I've never been called unprofessional. I've been called a jerk and a nut, a pain in the ass, but I've never been called unprofessional. And she said, how are you going to get better if you don't watch yourself? And she was absolutely right. And I went through a period earlier in my career where I'd go back and listen to the shows. I don't anymore. I don't even like listening to myself.
I don't either, but you have to.
You really do, especially you, since it's new. I mean, I've been doing it for 21 years. I'm telling the same old damn stories. And the politics, well, I was about to say the politics hasn't changed, but that's not true. Politics has radically changed, but it's kind of the same old thing. I don't know. I can't do it. Before we get to Malcolm Jamal Warner, this is kind of a lengthy interview. I listened to it again this morning. It's longer than I thought. But Lindsay Snyder, the owner of In-N-Out, was on a podcast, and she revealed that the base of In-N-Out is, in fact, leaving the state of California. She talked about where they're going.
Building an office in Franklin. So I'm actually moving out there. And
Wow. How do you feel about that? You're like a California girl through and through, right?
I really loved living in Northern California, and I'm so thankful that I grew up there because I think it changed a lot of who I am today. I think I would be different if I was raised in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, there's a lot of great things about California, but raising a family is not easy here. Doing business is not easy here. Now, the bulk of our stores are still going to be here in California, but it will be wonderful having an office out there, growing out there.
Totally.
And being able to have the family and other people's families out there. And so in that, it's two-part. We'll have everybody under one roof here in Baldwin Park, and we'll close our farm.
That's a big transition. And that's happening in the next few years, right?
Yeah, we've kind of, given it a longer runway so that it's smoother for everybody so they can plan and all of that. And we gave them a lot of notice, because we love them and want to make it as easy as possible. But by 2030, we'll close the Irvine office. So.
Okay. So at one point you said that within your lifetime, like if you draw a line straight from Texas, everything to the left, like you want In-N-Out there, but not maybe to the right of the line. Yeah. And you talked about just like the importance of the kind of like novelty of In-N-Out, like that you liked when someone comes into town where there's an In-N-Out, they're like, I got to go there, which is totally true. Yeah. That's what people do, by the way. I'm guessing though, since you're going to be, to the right of that line, that you're probably going to be opening up In-N-Outs there. So what does the strategy look like? Has it changed?
Well, it's funny. I think Kid Rock, he's the one that actually drew the new map, and he put the line up from Texas, grabbed Tennessee, went around Tennessee and back up. And I'm like, yeah, that's accurate.
There you go.
So I think for me, it's the same.
She's still
part. I guess I would
Jen!
Man plans his ways and God takes his steps. Mm-hmm. So we had a plan, and then he snuck that.
Jen Bowden!
Florida has begged us, and we're still saying no. The East Coast states, we're still saying no. We're able to reach Tennessee from our Texas warehouse. So we're not putting our whole meat facility where we do all of our own beef and send it to our stores, make patties. We're not going to have that there. We'll have a warehouse, but not do our own meat there. So we'll be able to deliver from Texas. So Texas can reach some other states,
She's a brilliant woman. She really is. And if you don't know where Franklin is, because there are all kind of Franklin cities all over the country, she's moving to Tennessee. I think she made allusion to it late in the interview. But one of the reasons that she has not moved east is because of the freshness. They like the idea that from the base in Irvine or Baldwin Park, that they can reach all the stores and it remains fresh. But she's right. I've told you that the Swain Group would play on Sunday. Oh, by the way, we can't play this weekend, and it's a good thing that Randy and I were going to play because I have a coupon, but it only serves from 10 to 5, and so Randy and I were going to play out there. Oh, is that what Bowden was coming about?
No,
about golf.
No, but the thing on at the prisons.
Well, I told her I'd get back to her because now it's been moved to my vacation week.
Right.
And I got to check with my mom and see if I'm going to be here Friday.
I think she just wanted to touch base with you about
it. Okay. What was I talking
about? We were talking about In-N-Out moving to Tennessee.
I completely forgot where I was. Oh, the fact that I can't play because I got off on a tangent. The county contest or the city contest is at Sundale this weekend. So there's no play until 2:00. I don't know if I want to play, even though it's going to be not nice relatively in the 90s. I don't know if I want to play from 2 to 6, the hottest time of the day.
It has been nice the last couple of
That's
days.
what I said. But 2 to 6, that's just the hottest part of the day. And I hate playing in the afternoon. I never play in the afternoon. You know why? Why do I hate playing in the afternoon? If you had to think about it.
I would think it's just the heat mostly.
Shadows. Shadows. You get shadows over your ball. And it's
Ah.
just, I hate that. Where I can see my shadow over my ball and,
Makes you
I've got the concentration of a gnat. It just throws me off for some reason. I don't know why. So I love playing in the morning. But that's why we're going to Vegas. I think we're going to BCC. That's what I thought she was talking about, because she's looking up Randy. But she's a brilliant woman, Lindsay Snyder. Let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we'll get into the new information coming out of Costa Rica on the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner. We all know him as Theodore Aloysius Huxtable, the young son of Heathcliff Huxtable. And Dr. Cosby this morning made the same parallel that I made yesterday, that he and his family, which the Cosby Show was based on, lost their only son, Ennis, a Morehouse College graduate, and the Huxtable fictional family lost their only son as well. It's a weird, weird coincidence. We'll get into that. Then at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk a little sports. Dodgers have finally won a series. They take 2 out of 3 from the Twins, but by the hair of their chinny chin chin. If Carlos Correa hits a home run 2 feet further than the one that James Outman took back from over the wall, the Dodgers would have likely lost that last night, or 2 nights ago, I should say. They got whooped last night, 10-7. And then they made a nice ninth inning rally this afternoon, with Freddie Freeman getting a walk-off base hit that really should have been caught, don't you think? You should have made that play. If it hits your glove, you're supposed to make the play in the major leagues. That's not true in high school or in the little league. It was a tough play. He was coming in, line drive in the daytime. Ain't real easy. But if it hits your glove and you're a big leaguer, you got to make that play. You got to make. It's like the thing in football. If it hits your hands, you got to make that play at that level. We'll come back and give you the information on Malcolm and talk about the subpoena. It's a joke that has been put on Ghislaine Maxwell. I'll tell you when she's expected to testify, straight from prison. I think she's in Florida doing her 20-year stint. But can anybody really believe her? She perjured herself in her trial. And who among us wouldn't say that the sky is orange if it'll get you out of prison? So I just don't understand how much can we take from whatever she's going to say. We'll get into that as well. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
The JR Show.
Baines decides she's going to run for Congress, which means her seat is open. And wouldn't you know it, Mr. Never saw a seat I didn't like except for the one I'm sitting in. City Councilman Andre Gonzalez, before the seat even gets old, decides he wants to run too. Well, if this is our way of getting Andre Gonzalez off the city council, I say good riddance.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries here in Kern County. If you are eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544. Let us help you understand your healthcare options for 2025. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. So what'd she say? You need and the coverage you deserve. Bowden, what'd she say? Persons with special needs.
She was telling me that the just about how the dates were lining up on your vacation. So she was going to see if you can just do Friday and just get it over with.
Well, I texted her, what, this Friday?
She just said Friday. She'd never specified it was this Friday or next
Well,
Friday.
yeah, because I told her I think I'll be back by Friday. I'm gonna be here Monday, Tuesday. Then I'm going to LA Wednesday, Thursday. But I didn't want to come back early Friday. I wanted to just sleep in Friday and come back late Friday afternoon. But I guess I could come back.
I should just knock it out this Friday and have her bring you back here.
Because they changed the dates. The prison changed the dates.
Oh.
I wanted to do it Friday. That's why I got none but guests Friday.
Right.
I don't have to do anything.
Did you actually fill it up, or do we need another?
I got 3:30, 4:30.
Because I may have. Who do you have it for besides Bentley?
I got Jenny Frank at 4. Remember, I texted you that to remind me of that.
I remember that.
And then I got I'm blacking out. I wrote it down.
Well, reason I ask is because we had Shane Hubbard on from Houchin this morning on EBS because they're doing like a giveaway for Raider tickets and stuff like that this week.
When is that? When are they?
It's happening already all week, but they end on Saturday. So I was like, hey, if we do it on Friday, give him a final push for the final day.
Book him.
Okay, I'll see if he's available on Friday.
Styles. They have it, and it's all on sale. Bring your big ideas
what time
to
is
American
Dave's deal?
Ceramics at 4000 Fruitville
11, I believe.
Okay.
started. But don't wait. Styles and
What are we
savings are
eating?
going fast, and
Salties.
Really?
Yeah. At least that's what he told me.
Oh, he's
Or visit
organizing
America
it?
Ceramics.
He was at first, but I think that Jen kind of just took it over. But yeah.
I thought it was a secret thing.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk.
Well, then that's the only reason I thought I screwed up, because I thought it was a secret. I didn't know who Dave is.
Back to the Ralph
What
Bailey
do you
Show.
want to talk about? Because you're mine, I walk the line. So we got some new information on the death of Malcolm Jamal Warner. And I think there's going to be a lawsuit because the area in Costa Rica where he was swimming is called Playa Negra, which, if you even know just a little bit of Spanish, means black beach. And it is infamous for people getting sucked down into the riptides. In fact, after this accident, they put up a red flag and no one has been swimming in that beach for days. Now, I don't know if you can sue. I don't know who you sue. Can you sue a country? Can you sue Costa Rica? Then some of the Costa Rican volunteer lifeguards said that the reason that there were no lifeguards present was because of lack of resources, which just fuels the lawsuit. And we now know more information. He was swimming with his daughter, his wife, as was first reported. And I always talk about whenever there's a tragedy or a major event, do not rely on initial information, because journalists' first priority is to get it right, but now it is also to get it first. And whenever your priority is to get it first, you are more likely to skip steps, make assumptions, and get it wrong. And it was reported that he was there with his wife and daughter when, in fact, his wife was in the United States and found out about his death from a phone call. And he was swimming with his daughter, who was also in trouble. But according to published reports, a surfer on a surfboard was able to retrieve his daughter. But by the time they got to Malcolm, he was submerged, and he tried to actually do CPR on his surfboard, and then just said, screw it, and swam quickly back to shore, where they worked on him for about 45 minutes, and there was just nothing he could do. And there was a third person that got sucked in as well, and that person is in critical condition. His daughter, the 8-year-old, is fine, apparently. But am I wrong in assuming that you smell a lawsuit coming where they didn't have a lifeguard available, the area was famous, or infamous for people getting sucked down into these riptides. And it's just such a tragic story. I don't think I've been. That's not true. That's not true. I was about to lie. I went swimming. I didn't really go swimming, but I dove under some waves when I went up to Santa Barbara a couple years ago. But I haven't been in the ocean since I damn near drowned in the 1980s. And I've told this story 1,000 times. It literally was the night. Al Campanis was a famous and very successful general manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I have always said and believed, because when I was living in Beverly Hills in an apartment that I couldn't afford, but my dad's Navy buddy owned it. So I was paying like $450 when the escorts that lived in the same building with me were paying like $900. And this is in the 80s. And there were escorts that were living. It was great. I didn't have the guts to go down and knock on their door. And like today, if an escort moved into my complex, I would knock on her door just to talk to her. So how does this whole thing work, this escort business? Do you go on dates with these men?
You're going to slam that door in your face so quick.
No.
I don't think you're a cop.
Oh, no. Not if I live with her. Not if we live in the same complex.
I don't know. That's
Dude, I've interviewed. You've never heard my interview story of the prostitute in Vegas?
That's different, though. Like, when they know you're a reporter and you're like...
No, she thought I was a John.
Oh, I thought this is the one that you were telling me about, that you told her that you had your own radio show in LA, so it's all that type of stuff.
Oh, I did tell her. You're right. I did tell her I was.
But she automatically thinks you're a journalist, not a cop.
Yeah, true.
You just walk up to a girl's door and just, so how does this all work? Like,
if you live with them, and there were 3 of them. 2 of them lived in one apartment and one of them lived in another. And dude, these girls were on fire. I mean, they must have made $1,000 a night. These girls were so good looking. And you know, one of them knew Lisa Hartman. Lisa Hartman showed up at our apartment complex one day. And I was just like, holy Toledo. Where was I going with this? No idea where I was going with this. Where I went from prostitutes to, I don't know, I was talking about Malcolm Jamal Warner.
right. Lawsuit potentially pending.
Yeah, I have no idea where I was going, but it's just such a tragic story. It really, really is. 54 years old, and his daughter was with him, so she's screwed in the head. Imagine dying with your dad dying with you, and now she's in Costa Rica by herself. The mom was in Atlanta. And she's there trying to get over it somehow at the age of 8. The fact that her dad died in the ocean. God, I can't even imagine. At 8 years old, I mean, that's like Lily's age. That's like JR's daughter's age. I can't even imagine. 842-5376. 842-KERN. What do you got?
Why are we even talking about the 2016 election? It was a decade ago and Trump won already. This is all a distraction.
Well, you answered your own question. That's exactly what it is. And to some degree, it worked. Much of the morning was manipulated by the sentencing hearing of Brian Kohberger, but the Obama thing was definitely on the agenda for most of the news stations. And if it weren't on the agenda, all they would have talked about this morning would have been Epstein. So it worked. He's a genius. You know, look over there, not over here. He's an absolute genius. And it's one of the few times that I would disagree with Howard Marcus. As I said, when Howard was on the show, I think he's one of the smartest guys I know. But Tulsi Gabbard is just worthless. Just worthless. And I absolutely believe that she is concocting this to get back in with Donald Trump. I'm going to find that audio where Trump is somewhere. It was either this morning or last night. And he's just salivating over her. She's the hottest gal in D.C. And that's a direct quote from Donald Trump. So Gabbard may not be, she's a nutcase, but she's smart because she's back in with the boss. And it's the talk of D.C. I wish we had more respect for the office. For a current president to call a former president seditious and treasonous is just beyond the pale. It really is. But, what are you going to do? One more. Let's get to the bottom.
Ralph, a high-end escort can usually charge about $1,000 an hour.
Yeah, I thought I said that.
Not sure how you would know that, but
well, like I know the hooker in Vegas, she wanted, I can't remember now, either 2 or 3 bills. And I made her laugh. I was like, oh, I go, what do you do? She goes, I'm in the entertainment business. And then I looked at her low-cut dress and I was like, oh. And she's like, what's wrong? And I said, I swear to God, I thought I was winning. And she actually laughed out loud. And she was like, no, baby. And she held up either 2 or 3 fingers. And I was like, well, thank you. You're very attractive. And she was. I was like, I just can't do that. Having sex with somebody that just had sex with somebody like a half an hour ago or an hour ago, it's just disgusting. Last half hour. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk.
Sushi tonight.
And AM 1180.
Hey, Siri. Call Bento Sushi.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Texas lawmakers are scrutinizing the state's emergency response to the July 4th floods that killed at least 36 people.
I'm going to do the same. The yellowtail, the salmon, and the fried rice. I'll see you at 6.
Democratic officials are questioning if the state provided enough funding to affected localities before the disaster. A subcommittee of the House Committee on Oversight has voted to subpoena the Department of Justice for files in the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. 3 Republicans on the panel voted with Democrats for the subpoena, sending it through on an 8-2 vote tally. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 507 points. The Nasdaq rose 127. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A woman who allegedly charged at police officers with a knife is in the hospital after an officer-involved shooting outside the Walmart in Southwest Bakersfield. Police were called to the Walmart on Gosford Road for a reported assault inside the store. Police asked to talk to Deshaney Holmes outside, but she kept her hand inside her purse until officers say she pulled a knife and came at them. The taser didn't work. An officer opened fire. She was taken to the hospital and later booked into the Lerdo jail. There are 10% fewer homeless people on the street. That's according to the latest point-in-time report. That figure covers the Bakersfield metro area, including Oildale. Officials cite this as progress toward their
How do you spell dialysis? DAILYSIS?
KERN newsroom with news every half hour when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey, it's JR for Bakersfield Weight Loss. Yes, 25 pounds lighter and still keeping the weight off. I swear, everywhere I go, everybody wants to know, how did I do it? They're like, JR, are you doing those GLP-1s? Are you taking the shots, the injections? What's going on? Heck no, I would never take injections or drugs to lose weight, ever. That's why I love Bakersfield Weight Loss. It's all natural. Not only that, they've taught me how to reset my metabolism. That's right. That's the secret. Maybe you're currently using semaglutide injections, or maybe you had to stop taking them because of bad side effects, or your insurance no longer covers the treatment, or because you've gained all the weight back. Don't give up. Go to BakersfieldWeightLoss.com. They can help. Again, they helped me last year lose 25 pounds. Not only that, I've kept the weight off. Give them a call. It's a free consultation. 661-449-1150. 661-449-1150 or online at BakersfieldWeightLoss.com.
Carpet Outlet
Hey Siri, show me the Dodgers schedule.
No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad! I
All right.
on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stainless.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
Dad, Lucky Duck is
Yeah. Be quiet.
Everything is fine.
Shut up.
Brand new waterproof floors from
Jesus.
Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. Dodgers get a much needed walk-off win to finally take a series. First time they've taken a series since the break. They take 2 out of 3 from the Twins. Barely. James Outman had to bring back a home run to get 1 win, and Freddie Freeman had to get a 2-out 0-2 walk-off base hit. At least Freddie's coming back. I'm really concerned about Mook. It'll be interesting because the Dodgers are about to begin a 9-game road trip. They're headed to Fenway, where Mookie used to roam in right field and won an MVP. And then it's off to Cincinnati, and they wrap it up down in Florida, in Tampa, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. But it'll be interesting to see what Mookie does in Boston. Does anybody know? I can't remember. This couldn't be the first time they've gone to Boston since Mook's with us. Could it? There's no way. Well, Mookie's been with us for what? 4 years? 3 years? They've had to go to Boston since he's been with us. We'll find out, because if it's the first time back, do they give him a standing ovation even if he's come back? If this is like the second or third time they've been to Boston, do they give him a standing O when he gets in the plate? I think they do. He was a loyal Red Sox. Why, you got to put it on the ownership for him not being a Red Sox. They should have just given him a blank piece of paper and say, take this to your agent and fill it out. We want you to retire a Red Sox. But the Red Sox are infamous for letting great players walk out the door, including who's the most famous star that the Red Sox let walk out the door, Mr. Burdick?
Babe Ruth, most likely.
George Herman Ruth, you doggone Skippy. Because the owner at the time, do you know the whole Babe Ruth story? Why they shipped him to New York?
I'd heard the story before, but
the owner, and I used to remember his name because it's a weird Frankenstein or Frankenhouse, or it's a weird name, but he was a big shot on Broadway, and he would finance his plays by selling off his players. And he had a big hit called No Net, but he couldn't fund it. So he sold Babe Ruth for, I think, $150,000, which in I think he left in like 1920 when Harding was the president. That's a ton of money back then. Ton of money. And No Net went on to be a huge success. And Harry Fricassee, let's find out what was his name. Hey, Siri, who owned the Boston Red Sox when Babe Ruth played there?
The Boston Red Sox.
Harry Fricassee. That's not bad for an old man. Frankenstein, and I got the first name right. And I got the FRA right. It was something. Harry Fricassee. And up until, was it the late 20th century when they finally won? Or was it early 21st? When Schilling.
Early 21st.
Early, was it like 02, 03 when they finally won?
It was post 2000.
Yeah. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got?
A few things. Mookie's had 3 games with you guys against the Red Sox, all in Boston. He's hit for a .467 batting average, including 7 hits, a home run, and 4 RBIs.
So it'll be interesting to see how he does because he's hitting 235 now and in the worst slump that he's ever been in his career. He's never had a slump like this in his career. I don't think he's ever hit 235 in his career at any point in his career. And again, he went up against a guy today who he has in career 9 at bats and he has 6 hits. And he went 0 for 3 against the guy. He got a base hit in the 9th and in fact was the tying run. But that shows you, because normally they're horses for courses. It's like that in golf. I play much better at Sundale than I do at BCC. Jen Bowden. Okay, sound good. Let's make this work if we can. They canceled the North Kern prison visit this Friday, which is good news for me. But they now want to reschedule it the week of my vacation. And I'm just not sure if I want to be here or in Los Angeles because I can't remember. This is what a horrible son I am. Horrible son. I really am. Horrible son. I wanted to take a couple of days of my vacation and let it fall on the day that my mother has to do dialysis. And being the horrible son, I can't remember her days. I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but it could be Friday. I can't remember, so I got to find out. They want me to go up there on a Friday, August 8th. And if I'm in town, yeah, that works perfectly. 842-5376. What else you got?
We got Chad on the line for you.
Chad, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, Ralph. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Hey, I was calling. I was actually swimming off the coast of Costa Rica last Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, I was. I believe Malcolm Jamal Warner was on the east side. I was actually on the Pacific side. So, but yeah, we were down there. Me and my brother and my cousins and I, we all go down there and go fishing, and we spent a day at the beach down there. And they got some pretty strong riptides and stuff down there. You just got to be careful when you do that. I mean, you hear people going to Hawaii all the time, and unless they're locals, right, they don't know how to swim in that stuff out there, and it is dangerous. Absolutely.
It's my understanding that you've got to, and I tried this when I damn near drowned, is you've got to swim parallel with the beach to get out of a
100%.
riptide. That if you try to swim back to the beach, you'll never get out of it.
Yep, you'll never get out of it. It'll wear you out before you get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to swim parallel with the beach, and and you got to, you have to, have some knowledge of it. But we went out there, and I was out there, and I saw some kid trying to catch a wave, body surfing, and next thing I know, all I saw from him were feet and elbows and knees, because he was tumbling like he was in a washing machine from the waves. So
Wow. That's scary. Just out of curiosity, go ahead.
No, I said it can be bad. Yes, sir.
Yeah. What do you catch down there when you go fishing?
You know what? We caught this trip. We caught about 360 plus pound tuna, I believe, yellowtail.
Wow.
And we caught, I believe, 3 sailfish. So
That's crazy. That's great fishing.
Oh yeah, and and believe it or not, since they're so close to the equator, right? This is almost their winter down there, right? This is what they call their rainy season.
Yeah.
So this is not the good time of year to go fishing down there. Actually, between I believe it's January and April is the best time to hit fish down there.
Yeah. Okay. That's great information. I'm having that for dinner, as a matter of fact. Little yellowtail and salmon.
Yeah, I probably got about 40 pounds of it in my freezer right now. So, but
Wow.
It's a beautiful country, right? It was my first time being down there. I would highly recommend it to anybody. Just like anything else, be safe when you travel.
Yeah, no kidding. Sad story, man. It really is. That was a great call. Thanks for the information, man. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, buddy. Take care. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Who you got?
Daily Dave is on the line.
Daily Dave. What's up, Dave?
Hey, I got to watch Mookie at that last bat, and man, he got lucky. He swung on a pitch before that. He went across the plate, but they called it no swing.
Yeah.
And then he got on. If you get a chance to watch it, you'll see. But every time I watch, I've been watching 95% of the games for Dodgers. they call a lot of strikes on Mookie that are not strikes too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that'll stop next year when he can appeal it. They're bringing in the appeal next season.
What do you think about the appeal?
I don't like it, but if it's only 2, I guess it's not bad. I think the players, I was wrong. I predicted that in the All-Star game they wouldn't use it, and they used it twice. But the players say they're reluctant to use it because there's so many times where they're absolutely convinced that a ball wasn't a strike. They go back into the clubhouse and look at it, and they're like, ooh, damn, that really was a strike. And so they don't want to be, no player wants to be the guy that wastes a replay.
Yeah.
Because like plays on the plate and plays in basketball, the guys know whether they fouled them or who the ball went off. But a strike, you don't know whether it's in the zone or not. You may think it is, but it may catch. All it's got to do is catch that box like a shot in tennis. If it just catches the line, it's good. So we'll see.
Yeah. But anyway, if you get a chance to see it, we really dodged the bullet. It was great the way Freddie came through. Like I said, I watched 95% of the games. I'm so happy. Maybe this will be the start, and with Clayton getting upset the other day and saying, hey, things got to change. Maybe it'll change. I mean, it's early still. It's still early. We've got a lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of baseball left, but we got to start hitting. We got to start hitting.
You are not a Johnny Come Lately Dodger fan. Whoever called in said that.
Well, they wrote it in the chat room that I was a fair weather Dodger fan.
Yeah, I about fell out my chair.
All right, Dave. Always good to talk to you, my brother.
Have a good one.
All right, buddy. Take care. Yeah, we got to start hitting. We've still got guys that are playing on the regular hitting in the hundreds. Michael Conforto, who looked like he was about to turn it around, still hitting 170 change. James Outman, who we called up. What do you think Outman's hitting?
200.
121. That's crazy. I've never seen a ball player. Well, let me just double check my numbers. I have never seen a ball player who gets to start who is hitting in the low hundreds.
103 is what I see here.
103?
At the moment, yeah.
103. You see what I'm saying? And he's playing on the regular, although thank God he was playing 2 nights ago when he took back that home run from Carlos Correa. But
4 hits and 39 at-bats.
That's just unacceptable. That's absolutely unacceptable. What, you got the whole team? You got the whole team listed there?
Not the whole team, but I can look up legal.
Look up the whole team for me. Give me, well, I can do it here too. Just some of the batting averages are absurd. Just absurd. Let me go here. Box score. Please stand by. Dodgers.
All right, I got it.
Mookie's hitting 238. Shohei's hitting 273, but he's got 37 home runs. Teo's hitting 253. Ruiz is hitting 250. Freddie's coming back. He's hitting 295. That's nice. But rushing, our backup catcher's hitting 216. Rojas is hitting 250. That's not bad. Tommy Edman is only hitting 227. Outman's hitting a $107. Conforto's hitting a $185. And Kike didn't play, but he's hitting like 202. That's just not going to get it done. That's just not going to get it done.
No, Kike is too busy eating popsicles on the sideline.
And that is such a bad look. I can't believe. I think Doc didn't know he was eating. I've never seen that. What does that remind you of, sports-wise? And NFL is the clue. You don't remember Mark Sanchez eating a hot dog at a preseason game?
Oh, I
Remember
forgot
that?
about that.
Preseason game. He wasn't going to play. Knew he wasn't going to play. He's sitting on the bench eating a damn hot dog.
I forgot about that.
It's just a bad look. Even if you're not going to play, which I think Kike is on the 11-day. I think he's on the IL. But you can't eat a popsicle. Dude, think about Little League when you were in Little League. If you were eating a popsicle in the dugout.
Alone 2 of them.
Exactly. He had 2. And he was kind of making phallic-looking gestures. I was just like, dude, that's just a horrible look. You're a professional baseball player. Like a high school kid would get yelled at for that. A little league kid would get yelled at for that. You imagine a mom came out of the stands and gave a little league kid a popsicle? It's just a bad sports look. Even if you know you're not going to go into the game, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a crotchety old man. Final break of the night. Keep it locked. Charlie Kirk at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Thursday. Michael Turnipseed returns live in studio, or so we assume. I'm whacking Turnipseed if he doesn't come in there tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. Just joking. And our money man, Daniel Petrie. We'll talk about Social Security with Mr. Petrie, among other things. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1, AM 1180, KERN. We stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and...
Do I bust out the promo?
Do I need to do a show promo? Because I listened to Scott this morning and none of them were running. I didn't hear one promo of Armstrong and Getty or JR or me. I don't know, was that Daisy or is it just not rotating?
Huh?
I said I didn't hear any promos on Scott's show this morning.
There's probably, well, no, Scott show's full of spots, so I had to keep a couple of them out. But they're playing throughout the day still.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't just play during Scott's show.
He's got that many advertisers?
I mean, the spots were just full, like throughout this. I've been building the logs all week.
Yeah. All right. What do we do today? I don't want to do Obama. Somebody's in there talking about I'm trying to get my black card back. Radio listeners are so weird. In and out? Who cares? Malcolm? Dodgers? Three, two. So once again, we're losing a major business here in California. Lindsay Snyder, the owner of In-N-Out, is moving to Tennessee. The Irvine office will stay open for a while as they make the transition, but by 2030, her base will be in Franklin, Tennessee. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, it's a Thursday. Mike Turnipseed returns live in studio, and we'll talk about Social Security with our money man, Daniel Petrie. All that, me at 3. It's TRBS right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3.
More to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant
Do you know
relief.
that when I stopped
can now get relief they
at
need during
Bento,
these hard economic times.
which
A
is
hotline
on
has
the
been
way
established
down
by tax
Oak to
relief
my house,
for you to call and
that
see
it
what you
goes from
qualify
$9
for. They are A+ rated
to
with the
15
BBB
bucks
and have over 1,000
just because I'm making that stop.
Don't wait. Call
And an Uber driver told me that I shouldn't do that. That I should just ask the guy to stop. You know what I'm saying? Just say, hey, can we stop in here real quick?
You're listening to
But
the Ralph Bailey
sometimes
Show.
you
Catch
get
me
jerks
Monday morning, 6
who
to
are
9
like,
a.m. on First
no,
Look with Scott Cox,
even though
News
it's
Talk
directly on the
96.1
route
and
home.
AM 1180 KERN.
On the wind that lifts her perfume through the air.
I'm digging up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitation. Good bop bop. Good vibrations. Bop bop. Good vibration. Sometimes I can hit that, and then some days I can't. That high pitch. Sometimes I can hit it. She's somehow closer. You gotta put that up when I sing. You gotta drown me out. Gotta drown me out. There you go. That's it. 842-5376. We got a couple of minutes. Let's clear the board. Get Sam Hill out of here. I'm eating sushi tonight. Yellowtail and
Hey,
salmon.
Ralph,
Little
cherry
unagi.
juice tastes quite tangy, not really a sweetness, kind of like a sweet wine. Aside from other benefits, it also boosts melatonin production and it promotes a better night's sleep.
That's what a caller told us. And that's outstanding because I'm an insomniac. And it's weird. If I take a couple of bong hits on a Saturday afternoon, just watching TV, I'll fall asleep. But if I take 2 bong hits before I go to bed, no impact. No impact. It's weird. I don't know what it is. I really don't. But I'm starting to get into a groove. I've been sleeping really well this week. I've been going to bed about 10:30. And I mean, turning off the lights. I get into bed like officially at 10:30, and I turn off the lights at about 11:30, and I'm normally getting to sleep by midnight. I wake up about 6 and watch in 2 weeks Lauren Holcomb and Anthony, what's the sports guy's name? 17. It's taking over for Alex. Anthony Vasquez? I think that's what it is. Please stand by. I'm pretty sure it's Vasquez.
I think you're correct, but I'm just double checking this
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah. Let's see. Please stand by. We only have a couple minutes left.
It's Vasquez.
Yeah. He's taking over. It'll be interesting. I don't know if they're hiring a new sports guy. There's no way they could have him doing double duty because he's got to go to bed at like 10 o'clock at night. There's no way he could cover sports and do that. But that's going to be an interesting transition. Maddie and Alex and that morning show have been kind of over a decade institution in this community. And it's funny, Alex, they did a tribute to him, or a minor tribute to him. And he's born and raised here. And when he's a little, there's video of him. That's the one thing I'm jealous of you young kids. Your whole life is on video. You know, my mother's got 8mm film of me in New York, and you can't even, it's just so horrible. You can't, although I heard you can turn 8mm film into something that is viewable.
They could restore it.
That's what I heard.
Never going to be like, an HD movie like on TV, but it'll look nicer.
Well, they have video of Alex as a little boy reading the news and predicting that's. I admire people like that. My friend Ed Skelly was like that. I met him in 6th grade, and he told me he's going to be a lawyer one day. His father was president of the Burbank Law Association, and damn if he didn't become a lawyer. And just to be that single-minded and to know what you're going to do and actually get it done. I didn't figure out journalism until my freshman year when I went down. And this is funny, or ironic, I guess, or coincidental. I don't know which. But the Maroon Tiger was not in publication my first semester at Morehouse. So I went down. Where'd you think I went to try to get a job on campus? Now, I just said it's very ironical that I went to this place. Can you deduce where I went? The newspaper was out of business till the second semester. So where did I go?
I'm trying to think in my head. Ironic. I'm not sure.
The radio station.
Oh, duh.
I did like 2 weeks at the radio station. And then I tried out for the baseball team. That's why I quit. And then I quit the baseball team because I thought the coach was clinically insane. The first 2 weeks that I was on the baseball team, he would not allow baseballs on the field. We just ran and did drills, and a baseball was never introduced on the field in the 2 weeks we were out there. And I was just like, this guy is clinically insane. And I was right, because he got fired the next year. But I lasted 2 weeks and just gave it up. That's going to do it for us. I want to thank Howard Marcus for joining us and all of you on YouTube and at currentradio.com and listening in your cars at 96.1 FM or 1180 AM. Tomorrow's a Thursday. Mike Turnipseed will be here live in studio, and we'll talk about Social Security with my good friend Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Give Daniel a call if retirement is staring you in the mug at 395-9400. 395-9400. He's located right on the corner of 21st and Oak, where I'll be passing by in about 10 minutes. In the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I will rap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A subpoena concerning the Epstein files has been voted forward by a House subcommittee.
A House subcommittee has voted to subpoena the Department of Justice for files in the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Democrats successfully goaded GOP lawmakers to defy Trump and Republican leadership to support the action. Democrats on a subcommittee of the powerful House Committee on Oversight made a motion for the subpoena just hours before the House was scheduled to end its July work session and depart Washington for a month-long break. 3 Republicans on the panel voted with Democrats for the subpoena. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
During a news conference, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard says President Obama and top aides are guilty of plotting a coup against President Trump.
They conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration.
Texas lawmakers are scrutinizing the state's emergency response to the July 4th floods that killed at least 136 people. The top Republican lawmakers stressed on Wednesday that legislators have no intention of criticizing or assigning blame. Some Democratic officials are questioning if the state provided enough funding to effectively